this is a safe space for us to speak about Black women protection, but men are interrupting Black women while they're speaking. They're disrespecting Black women, and it's completely contradictory to what this room is about.
And
Okay,
that's
so
why
Is
hold
this
on,
a
DJ.
black man safe
Hold
can
on,
I
Can
space
DJ.
y'all
also?
respond for
please
one
let
Hold on.
second,
China
please?
speak?
Hey, China, I'm about to
And
start
that is
dropping them, bro. For real
Then
talk.
drop them. Start
okay,
dropping them because
drop
I
them
done
out.
said it more than once.
And like what I was saying was that I was, trying to tell people, don't disrespect people. When he said that to her, that was wrong of organic, that was wrong. You don't call
Can I?
people out
I've
their name.
been.
We're
I've been
all
trying to
adults,
chime in
like I
when you
said.
finish. I'm sorry, China. When you finish, can I chime in?
Go ahead.
Just quickly, then whoever else is next in the queue, that's fine. Uh, I've been listening, guys. We got to know how to, have discourse, dialogue without the emotion injection, and calling people names. We're not gonna agree on everything. That's just how it goes. That's fine.
Okay,
A
you
lot of
know
this, a
what?
lot of
You
what.
need to
Hold up,
stop with
I'm
this
not finished.
bullshit because
Please, excuse me. This is my first time I talk since
you
you've been here.
threaten
So what you
black
talking?
women on this app. You message women.
Hold on.
This
Don't
is
silence her.
crazy.
Hold on. What did she
No,
say?
no,
It looked like
Unlike
she
wait,
got
hold on,
removed.
She
China.
cut him off.
I
No,
thought
no,
unlike
she's
China,
not.
cut
no.
him
Threatening
off.
black
Hold on.
women. Threatening
Cut him
black
I
off,
women.
thought we're
And then
though.
not
he wants to come in
interrupting.
this room acting like he cares about protecting black women. He does not. I have the screenshots from him talking greasy to me. So you're not going to sit here in this room acting like you care about protecting black women when
Wait,
you
what
Who?
did you
sent
say
me a
to him?
message telling me to shut the
Who?
fuck up
Who shot
the other
him?
day. It was
Who?
DJ, whatever his name is. And
What
I
did you
have
say
the
to him?
screenshots to prove it. So he's
Wow,
not
Okay,
gonna sit up
China.
G,
here.
Can I
I'm not
G,
gonna
ask
let
a
him sit
G.
up here and
China?
lie,
Hold on,
acting like he
I
acts
have a
like he cares
question.
about protecting
Hold up.
black
Hold
Whoever
women.
on,
shot me
let her
down is a
He
finish.
is
bitch
a
ass dude,
liar.
bro.
He is a
And this
troll.
lady here is lying
He
like a
needs to be out
motherfucker.
of
She
this
Oh
talk
room.
shit
wow.
about me. So that's the
Okay,
problem. She
hold
talk
on.
shit. She
DJ,
talk
hold
shit
I
about
on.
me,
have
but
the
when I respond,
Oh,
screenshots.
she ain't.
What
So
did
if
you
you
Oh,
want
say
to
to
call
him,
me
G?
out,
She has the
I
screenshot.
can message
What
the
did you say
mods
to
the
him?
screenshots. You've threatened black women on this app because we had a room talking about we don't want to have kids with men who don't protect and provide for us. And then you want to sit and message threatening black women on this app.
What did he
Did
threaten
you?
you,
So he
G?
threatens black women. He's a
Did you
He
threaten the
moderator.
black
threatened
women
He's
on
not
this
a
multiple
app?
black women on
moderator.
this
Why
app.
are
He was
y'all
called out in
asking
another
one
room.
mic?
You
One
threaten
mic,
the
y'all.
all black women should leave. This is not a safe space.
You are a liar. You are a liar. You don't care about protecting black women.
Never mind.
China doesn't either. None of the moderators do. Did not either.
Yeah, can I ask a question
Yeah,
though?
who said that? Who
say
said that?
China.
That
They
nigga
keep
out.
dropping me to
Yeah.
the
Okay,
office.
wait a
Can I talk
second.
China? Because he's
Before
Hey,
attacking my
anybody
I
name.
does
moved him.
anything,
One
hold
China,
on.
can
second.
I talk?
I thought DJ
China's on
was
the
speaking.
phone.
You're
You
One
you're
mic,
about
one
to
mic.
Hold on.
Hey
Excuse me.
yo,
China.
hold on,
Excuse me.
everybody.
give me a second. I'm
Wait,
threatening to
wait,
shoot y'all.
You a
wait,
lie. Don't nobody want to hear
wait.
you,
One
girl. Don't nobody
second.
never threaten
One
you. I told you
second.
to
Hold
shut the
on.
You know
fuck up.
what?
That's
You
not a
know
Don't
what,
threat.
call her
Yeah,
a
you
lie,
you
girl.
said
Don't
Wait,
you
say
wait,
that.
messaged
wait.
her.
One
You
you
mic,
ready?
kicked
Danielle.
out
Why
the
y'all
room. I'm
personal?
dead
One
serious. Mike
mic.
speaking. One mic, please. Now we're
Okay,
gonna
this is
go
what I
in
want to say.
queue.
Oh, go,
We're
little lady.
gonna
Go
go
ahead.
in queue. May I ask who's speaking right now?
I
I
was
It was.
trying
wanted
to
It
to
was
finish.
ask
on.
a
No, I didn't
question.
ask for everybody to speak at once. I
So
asked who's
It was
speaking,
on
whose voice
DJ,
did
right?
I just hear?
so
that
the
was
next person that was actually in the queue, his name is Daniel.
Okay, so Daniel, you may after the person that was just speaking, we're gonna let her finish, and Daniel is next. If you all can't honor that, the next person that speaks out of turn, you're getting kicked out the room, and you will not be allowed back. This shit is ridiculous. And
I'm.
I'm Lady Nia, and I dropped the mic.
I'm gonna leave. This ain't a safe place for black men.
all black
Nah,
Okay,
women.
hold
I
up.
told old girl about herself because they talking
Hold
about killing
up.
black
Okay,
men.
hold
All
on,
right,
hold
let's
on.
just
No,
move
they
on
weren't
from
talking
that.
Hold
about killing black men. You're not going to sit up here and lie
You said you was
and
gonna kill black
gaslight.
men and we
Okay,
all
this
should
is
die,
not
and
the
I told
time
you
for
to
Hold
y'all
shut the
on,
fuck
personal
up.
arguments.
hold on, guys,
Okay,
hold on,
hold
guys.
up.
Did I miss?
China,
I
give
just
me a
got a phone
second.
call. Did I miss something?
Yes,
Hold on, China.
An
Yeah,
Okay,
argument
that's a
from
good.
another
lot.
room came into your room,
Give
China.
me a second. Please mute your mic. Okay, this is what's going to happen. DJ is going to come up, speak his piece. Then G, I'm going to let you come up and speak your piece. You come off
Hey,
the
could you
mic.
tell whoever
You're
stopped knocking me? Hold on 1 second.
hold up. I'm the one that's knocking you, so hold
But
up.
this not your room, boo. China brought me. China modded me. You didn't mod.
at the end of the day,
Okay,
we're all mods in here, young sir. So we all need to
okay.
get along, homie.
Little lady, let me finish. Let me finish this. I will bring him up to speak. I will then bring G up to speak. Then after that, and that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna let China take back over her cue. But this is what I want to say. It is a safe space for women.
China
It's
keep
a
bringing me
safe
back
Look,
nigga.
because this is
it
her.
doesn't
Wait
matter.
till
Look, let
wait till I'm
opinionated finish.
done. This is a safe space for women. This is a
Is it?
safe space for who?
Let her finish, brother.
This is a
All right,
safe
just go
space
ahead and
for
paint it.
women. It's a safe space for men. And it is a safe space for anyone from the LGBT community because we all need to learn
We
how
don't want to
to
center them though.
talk
I
to.
get
We're
tired of
not
that. We can't
centering
center them.
nobody,
How
but
did
we
y'all
need to
center
learn how
us?
to talk together. Okay? We got to get along at one point. We still black at the end of the day.
We're
So
adults.
that's what's going to happen. All right, DJ, you go ahead and speak your piece, sir.
China, I mean, who's this? Is this your room, China? I was in this room before all these
Yes,
people even
it's my
came in
room,
here.
but listen, it's okay. Just hold on. All right, so do you want to respond to
Yeah,
what
I
was
want to
said?
respond. But somebody kept throwing me like this, China. You know what I mean? You rock. I be in all your rooms, like, and when nobody's in here, now all these people that popped in, most of them I pinged in, and now they throwing me to the damn audience when I was a mob before them. What the hell? Like, anyway, the young lady who spoke. First of all, the brother that spoke that said putting all of us as a monolith is dangerous because if you got kids and you got sons, you putting a target on their back. So you got to stop saying all black men are killing people. I got 4 sisters, a mama, 2 grandmas, and nieces. I got all that. I've never killed or touched a black woman in my life. So I'm tired of y'all labeling us like Fox News and the white people do us, and you supposed to be on the same team. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's violent black men out here. They kill each other at the highest rate. They make up 6% of America, and they kill more people than anybody. So they violent. Collateral damage is black women. It's proximity. She's in the same community. So when she jumps in the well fire, she gonna get shot in the drive-by too. She's in the domestic violence. That's how it happens. I'm sorry, we got a messed up community, but you can't put all black people in one box. And I'm sick of that shit. And the young lady who spoke earlier, she was talking about in a room talking about all black men should die and we should just divest and leave black men alone and destroy the black community and patriarchy. And I told her she needed to shut the fuck up. So she's right. I never threatened her. I said, when she's talking about my community and kill me and I'm black and she's talking about all black men should die, hi, I'm a black man. So yes, I'm upset. What the hell? So yeah, so I'm passionate about that. And I'm here now with my black son who I raised. So please.
All right,
Okay,
G, you can
so
go ahead and
yeah,
speak, G.
okay, yeah, I am. So first of all, he's a liar. That room was not about killing black men, killing black sons. These black men like him like to twist things around and make it seem something that it's not. The conversation was about women, black women should not be giving birth to men who can't do what men should do, which is protect and provide. Whether the baby be a girl, boy, it doesn't matter. It was simply talking about black women
She lying.
using that wasn't a lie. No, and you're not going to cut me off again. Can you put him back in the
Um,
audience? Because I let him
no,
speak.
hold on, G, because you did call him, no disrespect to you, but you called him a liar at the beginning.
She
He
did, yeah.
never
He is a
came
liar.
off of,
He is a liar because he made it seem like the room
though.
was talking about killing
See the
black
double
women, and it
standard?
wasn't. And he did
G,
All right.
he never called you a name. So watch what you're saying and not call people names. No name calling, but you can continue.
you can tell me to shut the fuck up. See,
That's not a threat.
this is the
No.
problem with this. You're not going to
He
get protection, black women, from these black men. You don't know what these black men are doing outside of this clubhouse.
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
he says he's not an abuser, but is
don't
that really
interrupt her.
true? Look how
That's a
he
No,
good
we're not
point.
gonna
I'm
do
a
that. You're
woman
not
that
gonna
he
put
doesn't
something
know.
like
Hey,
that on
Look how
hey,
he
somebody.
hey.
spoke to
China
me
just said let her
disrespectfully.
finish
He don't
talking.
know me. He don't know me, but he can message me talking disrespectful, talking greasy. He can threaten other black women on this Clubhouse app, and then he wants to talk about he's not an abuser.
Sounds like an
RTP
abuser
the
to me.
message. RTP.
Hey guys, ask her to show you the message what she told me.
Yeah, I can show you.
How she aborted her black
Word.
son because
RTP
she
the
don't want to deal
message.
with
Hold
black
on, hold on.
men.
No, no, no. Look, we're not gonna go into personal lives about abortion and stuff like that. Like, look, it don't seem like okay, y'all don't
Look,
get along, and I want
yeah,
this to
but
be a
the
safe
thing
No,
space
is,
but China, you
for.
gonna let
he
him abuse
messaged
her
me.
Hold
though,
I
on,
do
hold
China?
not
on.
know this man. He messaged me. He trolled me.
He threatened her
Okay,
life, China.
he trolled me. What I said was he threatened another black Clubhouse member
When
on
did I
here.
threaten you?
He threatened another black Clubhouse member on here, and
If
she
you
called him
speak
out in
one
the
more
room.
time while she's
She
speaking,
called him out.
I will put you down to the bottom. Now let her finish speaking, please.
So my point is, Black woman, you're not getting anywhere with these type of Black men. These conversations are a waste of your time. You need to be doing what you need to do to protect yourself. You can't count on men like DJ, whatever the hell his name is. You can't count on men like him. Like, he's getting all salty because Black women talking about they don't want to give birth to men who don't do nothing for them, which makes sense when you really think about it. He's getting all salty and mad. And then you got men in here talking about they need protection. Black women need to protect them. How do Black women need to protect them when we're trying to raise the kids that they abandoned? That many of these Black women abandoned. A lot of these kids are without fathers. We're busy trying to raise them into good people. And then we got to, on top of that, worry about protecting them. Like, you're not getting anywhere with these men, Black women. You're wasting your time. And that's all I got to say.
Can I
Right.
speak? Can
Can
I
I
speak?
respond?
G.
Can
Can
I
I speak?
respond to G as
Can I
another
speak?
Black
I
woman?
ain't spoken.
Hold on.
But
Yes,
Give
yeah.
me just
I
a
don't know who
second.
Someone
said
removed
that.
her
Give
from
me
the
just a
room.
second. We're gonna go ahead and reset the room.
Wait, somebody removed her from.
Yeah, opinion. Hold
Someone
up.
removed her
Hold on.
from the
Did somebody
room.
remove her?
This
Bring G
is.
back up.
Wait. How can you remove her from the room when the room is about protecting her and
Wait, she's not
dissecting
removed. She's not removed.
This
Don't
room is
remove
not about
anybody to
protecting
the
black women.
audience.
who
Even if
moved the
don't.
lady?
Hold on. Look, the only people
The
that I
moderators
feel,
hate black women.
hold on, the only people that need to be moving people to audiences is myself, opinionated, Measy, or little lady, or Deja. Look, don't drop nobody and don't remove nobody from my room.
No, don't bring AI
Lady,
Who?
back up
lady
here.
removed me from the room about three,
She
four
I
removed
times.
didn't
herself.
remove
She's not in the
anyone.
room. She removed herself,
Do
guys.
not bring
Please.
AI back up here. He's done. He's not coming back on this
I
stage.
just want
So
to know
can
who
I ask a
removed me.
question? what Can I did ask a question? AI Because do? I want to know something. Is this just a room for Black men and Black women to fight each other? Because that's what it's
No, that's
given.
not even how it started, Lima. That's why we're about to do a reset.
Yeah,
Because
do
that's
a
not what
reset.
this was even about. I was talking about black women in general, like how we're treated in hospitals and all of that. Like we were just like they started like,
These are
it
not your
kind of
toys to
took a
be sitting up
turn,
here study
but I
doing it.
want
I
to
just
go
told you
back to
5
what we
minutes
were
ago.
talking about.
Stop.
Fuck is interrupting me. I wanted to go back to the topic of what we were talking about and opinionated. Can you please reset the room for me?
Yes, ma'am, I can. Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon for some. You're in here sipping with China. Please go ahead and follow the house by clicking on that little green mansion at the top. Follow the club, follow your club members, follow each other. Today, we're creating a safe space for all. And the topic of today is protect Black women at all costs. 100. Please be respectful of each other. If you don't, if you disagree with that person's views, so be it. It is not always meant towards you. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and continue with the conversation. Have fun.
Hey guys, I never threatened no black women, so I don't know who this what this lady's talking about.
Look,
I
we're not
probably
even
was
on that
I
right
probably
now.
was disrespectful because she
Can we
disrespected
move
me.
on?
Yeah,
Like,
we're moving
Yeah,
goodness.
forward.
let's just
Like
go.
Can
The
I
more you
that's
talk
that's
about
not
it,
going anywhere. And like,
yeah.
let's just move forward to what we were originally talking about. DJ, you was in this room for a long time. You know what we were talking about the whole while this
All this
morning.
negative energy came in here, and I don't know where it came from. Somebody talking about I'm attacking black women. Show me on my
But by
record that
that, you
I
gotta
attack black
move
women.
on. You know
Yeah,
that's
but
No,
let's
the
just
no, the
move
room
on.
is
really?
about protecting
I
black
want to
women.
be
So
more
somebody's
talking
accusing me
to
of
this real
not
quick.
protecting black women. That's
okay.
part of
But
the
since I've
conversation.
been here, sir, it's been nothing but chaos against Black men and Black women, right? Fighting each other, and
We
that's not a
don't. We
good
don't
look.
know how to talk to. We don't know how to talk
I'm
to each
talking
other.
to a
That's the
group of
problem.
black women that I agree with. Me and China talk all the time. So I'm telling her because she might be thinking, damn, DJ, I never heard that about you. I never
Okay, but
threatened
you
a black
can back
woman.
channel her, right?
Well, she in here
I
sending
don't have
herself,
to,
bro.
ma'am.
Let
This
her
is
go
not your
ahead.
room. This is
All these
China room. If
people
she got a
speak.
problem, she'll tell me.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
DJ, just so that we can move this conversation forward, just back channel me your feelings,
Okay, but
please. You know I got you because I do want to come
that's
to
fine,
a
ma'am.
resolution
I
for
just, you
what we
got
were
seven,
talking
eight
about
people.
earlier.
Stop
Can I
muting me,
just say
please.
something for 10 seconds? I just want 10 seconds. I don't know DJ. All I wanted to say is if somebody comes on the stage and accuses him of something that he hasn't done, I think he has a right to address it
Nigga, shut
in
the
the
fuck
same
up.
But
fashion
Shut
that
he,
up.
he was
hold
accused.
on, no,
Yeah,
don't tell anyone
organic.
to be
He,
quiet.
he's
Nah,
But
bro,
right.
he telling the truth. I got the right to defend myself.
One mic on deny. One
but
mic.
we
If
allowed
one
that. You
China, can
spoke
I
your
say
piece
something?
about it. Go ahead, Denai.
Yeah, like quite naturally, people like if you're gonna come up here with borderline broad allegations about things, you're distracting the conversation. But if somebody come up here, have a discourse, and has like smoke with a moderator about black women pertaining to the topic, I think we should allow that discourse to happen healthy in a healthy mannerism and move forward. So it is what it is, and it was pertaining to the topic, and I think both of them have some valid points, and you know, let's not try to really get this space chaotic. When China opened the space, it was like 3, 4 people in here, and the conversation was going smooth. So I'm gonna do a reset on what I said, because I think what I said like wrenched off. It got chaotic. I said that basically black women need to normalize holding each other accountable, and stop running down on black men, and they will be protected by us if they take a softer, more feminine approach, instead of weaponizing money, and weaponizing the power of the pussy or some shit like that. So that's what I said. You know, I if I know 100 black women, 90 of them are toxic. So when I come from what I come from is anecdotal experience, and a lot of people don't like to acknowledge the amount of toxic black women and even the toxic black men in their environment. In some type of way, these conversations always flip back onto the black man, and but at the end of the day, I do feel like protect black women, because I wouldn't be here. Y'all motherfuckers wouldn't be here without a black woman. So at the end of the day, we do have to protect black women. So cishet black women, actually.
Amen. You gotta
That's
protect
China,
facts,
them.
man.
is
We
this
agree
a
with that.
troll room? I'm
It's
confused.
not like I'm trying to get back on the topic. Thank you, Dana, for speaking your piece. I appreciate it. So, how women are treated in the hospital. I'm gonna just take over the conversation because y'all don't know how to get back on track. Although we just reset the room. So how discrimination can harm Black women's health is pinned up the top. It's from Harvard Education. So, yeah, there, I want to hear from Black women right now. How have you ever, felt like you were treated unfairly, while being in like the medical room at all?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
all the time.
Especially,
Yep.
I've been misdiagnosed a few times. They tried to give me a CAT scan. So apparently they said I had appendicitis and they're trying to like give me a CAT scan, but I'm just confused because like if you're doing so many tests on me and you see what the problem is, why do you need to get a CAT scan when you can see what the ultrasound of the problem is? They didn't give me painkillers. I was in pain. I literally had to go to another hospital to get a second opinion because the doctor was really pushing to put me under a CAT scan. Because from my understanding, because what my ex boyfriend told me is that when it comes to certain tests like the CAT scan, what's it called? The
Radiation.
Yes, the
MRI.
radiation. He didn't want me to go under the radiation because we were thinking of having kids and he didn't want to put me in that. And what's very interesting, when we were in the hospital room, there was this black nurse, this guy, he told me that I don't think you should get a CAT scan because of the radiation, because it can affect your chances of having kids. So he was looking out for me and telling me that you need to get a second opinion. But yet, I'm just going to be really honest with you. When it comes to South Asian doctors, they're very, they're very poorly when it comes to, I live in Canada. So when it comes to like South Asian doctors and white doctors, they really reflect poorly on Black and Indigenous women in Canada here. We do have systematic healthcare racism, which we do go through. And also here in Canada, Asian and South Asian people do oppress Black people as well, and that's what we experience. But unfortunately, I'm just going by my experience, like where I live, a lot of Black men, I'm just speaking my experience and where I live in my area, a lot of them do not really protect Black women. But just going back what China says when it comes to the healthcare system, I have been through that. I have not been treated properly. I've been misdiagnosed a few times. I have other friends that have been through that. And it's just very unfortunate that, till this day in the medical books, it still says that Black women don't feel. And that's a scary thing because, like, even if a Black woman is about to have a baby, even I don't know if you guys read the article about Serena Williams. She was speaking about her experience of giving birth to her daughter, how she developed, I think it was Paul Mary, and she told the nurse and the nurse ignored her and she had to pressure her, and then finally they actually end up treating her. So that's what actually happened. So I'm just gonna be myself.
Thank you for sharing your experience. Is there anyone who would like to respond to her or tell their experience?
I would. China, this is opinionated. So many of you know I have I can't have children, right? But and that's due to hysterectomy. And I'll push back. I'll get back to that in a second. But when I was a freshman in high school, and I had appendicitis, like the lady just spoke to. I'm in the emergency room. The doctor called us back to the doctor called my mom because he saw where my appendix was leaking, right, and it was soon to bust. So we're in there, black nurse right here, white doctor, and I was a virgin. And I lost my virginity to a speculum, screaming and hollering on the table because I had never experienced sex at all. And he didn't give a damn. And he kept asking me, "Are you sexually active? Are you sexually?" And I was like, "No, I've never had sex." And he didn't care about that. And he he did what he did. And I was so upset. The black nurse, she was so upset. She was screaming at him. She was like, "Didn't you hear her say that she's never been sexually active?" Fast forward to me not being able to have kids, right? So when I went to the doctor for that, I didn't know it was different things they could have did to save my womb. The only thing she presented was that the fibroid tumor is grown into your uterus and up your uterus wall. So we have to remove your womb. Well, I should have went get a second opinion, but I was hemorrhaging so bad I didn't. Come to find out that they could have saved my wound and I could have became a mom. But instead, they chose not to, and she didn't tell me the truth. So when I say we get unfair treatment, we get unfair treatment. I think it's due to the emergency of the situation sometimes, but still, just do your research. We get unfair treatment. And I yield.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Opinionated. I just want to say I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I definitely hear the emotion and the pain in your voice when you talk about these things. And I just want to, it might not seem like it, but God has a perfect plan for you and your life, and everything that happens for a reason. I've had two biological children who are grown now, but I also am a foster mom, and I've had my foster child for 2 years. And you do have the ability to love a child just like it came from your womb. And there's so many children out here that need homes, that need somebody to love them. So there's more than one path to motherhood, and I just, my prayers go out to you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Me and my husband, we looked into a lot of things. But after he turned the age of 45, he was like, he don't want no kids at all. He don't want to. And so he didn't want to have the child growing up without him being physically capable to be there for him in every way. And after I hit the age of 40, I was like, okay, I don't want to do it either. We're at the point where we kind of take care of our nieces and nephews, because my sisters, they do have children. But in the long run, we have achieved so much on this earth, and we either my nieces or my nephews gonna get it, or we gonna have to give what we have to donate it to charity. But yeah,
This is Erica, and I want to say my name is Erica Kareem, and I have a company called Healing the Black Family. And I just want to say, opinionated, thank you so much for sharing that. I also wanted to say this to piggyback off of you. The white man is trying to depopulate us by any means necessary. And so I just wanted to share that with you because when you said that your cervix could have been, or your uterus could have been saved. And the reason why I'm coming on here is because, we in the middle of a pandemic, and my husband had COVID. And it's the most scariest thing when I've been married for 22 years. And so many of you know that when you go into the hospital, you can go with your family member. Well, when he had COVID, I couldn't go in there with him. And I was praying every day that they did not just do something. It's always a us against them. It's the Republicans against the Democrat, the man against the woman, the black against the white. Now it's the vaccinated against the unvaccinated. And you just hear these stories of how, and in my family, we refuse to get vaccinated. So you hear these stories about how bad they want to treat the people that chooses not to get vaccinated. And so I just was praying every day that he was in the hospital. Dear Lord, please let him come home and don't let, they give him anything that isn't necessary. So I mean, we have a fight on our hands. And it's so I just want to say this, that is so disheartening when us black male and female cannot get along, because we need each other. We need each other to survive. There's a saying that our grandmother said, that it's going to get worse before it gets better. We're in a crisis right now, y'all. And so we have to make sure that we are focusing on things that's going to move us forward.
You okay?
Move
What you want? You want
We have
something?
to focus on things that's going to
Your drink?
um, do things where we don't need the white man. We need our land. We need each other. We need to know our neighbors. And just last thing, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So with that being said,
Amen.
find find y'all some people that you can connect with, that really understand the crisis that we are in. We are in a spiritual crisis, a physical crisis. Like, we have so many conspiracy theories where what if, they say, okay, well, unvaccinated people can no longer grow in the grocery stores. Are you all prepared and stocking up your foods and stuff, and mingling with your neighbors, and you having unity is so important, y'all. And we are fussing about the little things. What are we teaching our children when we act in this behavior, in these manners? So my thing is just, please, let's unite. This is really, I'm not trying to, I know some of you is like, she's just doing a kumbaya, but this is serious. We have to look at the bigger picture, and the traumas that the white man has put on us, and get ourselves, our mentalities and our mindsets out of this for the bigger picture. And I'm done. Thank you so much.
You know what, sis?
Thank
That
you.
she made a lot of good points, and it's a historical context to that. I mean, the distrust from our sisters to the brothers has been there since slavery, when a white man used to castrate and just kill us in front of the women or hurt them, and there's nothing we can do to help them. So this has been here. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we got to work on healing and building our communities back up.
Doc, you want to speak?
Yeah, I wanted to speak on her behalf. She made a lot of sense, and as I be telling my people that's in my group, we are in our spiritual warfare right now. The 2022 that's God's year. I don't know, that's for the believers. I'm just letting y'all know this because I've been tapped into my spirit, and since I was 16, I've been asking Him to open my third eye because my grandma raised me. But that's a whole different story. But we are in a spiritual warfare right now. Like the things that's happening right now, I done seen them before 5 years ago when my brother was on his deathbed. In the year 2022, that's God's year for all His believers. That's the year that He's going to take care of all His people. We're not going to have to worry about nothing. When I say nothing, we don't have to worry about nothing. Long as you believe, you in that category. It's just that it's a lot of non-believers out here that don't believe and don't feel like they're ever going to believe because they feel like God's not real. But I agree on a whole lot of things that she said. Like, yeah, we in our spiritual warfare right now, and if we don't get it, we gonna be real lost come 2022.
Like we're gonna be very, very lost if we don't get with the program right now.
Donna, I get what you're saying, and I also get what Erica is saying. But so I don't want to like make any type of polarizing statements because obviously we're in a space to where a lot of people can get in their feelings, and unfortunately they aren't able to look at things as they are, and they would prefer to look at things in like a what if type
As
of
they should.
stance. But I'm okay, DJ. I understand you passionate, but just give me an opportunity to speak uninterrupted, sweetheart. So are we going to pretend that the issues in which Black women are speaking about in reference to how problematic Black men are in this community are small things?
No, I wasn't
When
speaking on. I'm
no, no,
sorry
no,
to
no,
cut you
no,
off.
no, I'm not coming directly for you. No, 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 no,
No,
no.
no,
I'm
no, no. I know you're not. I'm not trying to cut you off or nothing. I just came back in the room, and when I came back in the room, she was speaking on things that I already know. So I don't know what she was talking about in the beginning before I came back in the room. I just caught the part that we are in our spiritual warfare. We are like, we is like. I don't know how to say it. I don't know if y'all want me to say it ghetto or intellectual. I don't know. Like, but we are in our spiritual warfare. Like, this is the time for all us black people to come together, men and women who believe in God. Because at the same token, he's coming back for his people. And just like she said about the vaccination, I feel like once that line comes, because it's a narrow road to heaven, he gonna get in that line and them beepers gonna get the beeping off. And yeah, he just gonna put them out there in his mind. Like,
I do keep saying, Dara, that everybody doesn't have the same belief
Can't hear you,
system,
sis.
and
You
yeah, I
somebody.
You
can't
muffled.
sound
You
I
muffled,
can't
muffled.
hear you. You
muffled.
muffling.
Oh, is that better, you guys?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay, so everybody doesn't have the same spiritual beliefs as you do. And just speaking to a wider, more general audience for, that this is palatable for everyone, the issues that Black women face, of discrimination, not being protected, being abused and misused. I've heard a lot of speak and a lot of talk about, oh, well, if women would be more feminine or this, that, and the third. It's all deflection and gaslighting tactics. When women and children are Black women and children are being killed every 6 hours, and 93% of the time, the assailant in which murdered them is a Black man. For Black men to sit up there and pretend that the majority, because somebody gonna come off their mic and say, not all Black men, the majority of Black men have a demonic disdain for Black women and Black children. And you are correct.
That's not
She
true
said,
though. That's
hold
not
on,
true.
Substantiate that.
hold
That's
on,
not
Substantiate
true,
let
that.
me
sis. She out of
let me
line.
finish. Let me finish.
She
Let me
said
finish.
majority. Now y'all got to get that
How
lady
can
up
But
you
that's
now.
how
wrong
can you
though. To say the
quantify
majority
that?
of black men are
And
demonic.
that's
Come
That's
on.
not
wrong.
that's
The
not
numbers don't
no,
add up.
no,
Some.
you
Let's just
no,
say
no.
some. Let's
Y'all
just say
listen.
some.
Hey,
Listen,
Kings, be cool, Kings. Just be
Let her finish. Let her
listen.
finish.
Y'all
So that's
horrible.
that's the problem. When Black women say anything that Black men do not agree
'Cause you don't
with, they
understand how much that
They
immediately.
want to
hurts a
tear
black
us
man. It
down.
Oh
hurts
my
us when you
God,
say that.
stop, stop. Y'all so emotional. Stop. Just let me finish speaking. This is the issue. Black women consider every Black woman in this room set up and listen to Dante deflect the responsibility onto Black women as to why they failed to protect us, and we said nothing. But when I start speaking about the real truth that Black women are being murdered in the streets
It
by the
hurt.
hands of Black men, it does hurt. Who it hurt more? Me saying it to you, or it actually happening to Black women?
It
You see what I'm
actually
saying? Like
happening.
that's what I'm saying. Like you got to take emotion out of the situation, because if anybody it deserves to be coming off their mic, getting overly emotional,
I
is
like to
Black
speak
women, because
next.
we are the one. Oh God. It's like y'all don't even recognize y'all lack of respect for Black women. And we in a room talking about protect Black women, and you can't even have enough respect for a Black woman to be quiet while she's speaking. This is just a small microcosm of the bigger issue that Black men have no respect for Black women. You guys can't actually. I don't even think Black women should be asking for protection from Black men, because they can't even protect themselves. The number one cause of death among Black men is murder because they're murdering each other. So how can a man that can't even protect himself and keep his brother in line, since they claim it's the minority of black men who are being violent and killing black women, why can't the majority keep the minority in line? It's a lie. It's deflection. It's gaslighting, and it's bullshit.
Can I respond to that real quick? 'Cause I haven't
Thank
spoken
you,
at all.
Resilient. Thank you.
I need to
Everything
Thank
you said
you.
was
respond. Let me respond to
amazing.
that
Thank
No,
you.
immediately.
that was gaslighting
Thank
what she
you.
just did.
Yeah,
That was
I
You
haven't
know
said
what
it.
Hold,
Listen,
wasn't?
hold
that
on,
wait,
was
wait.
not
Let me
hold on,
respond.
gaslighting.
Let me
Was
respond.
not gaslighting.
Let
That
me
hold on.
was
Let him
respond.
let him respond real
Y'all
quick.
taking it. Y'all want to take the emotion out of it. Then I challenge you to substantiate everything you just said with some sort of fact and with some sort of
She
reading.
can't.
Exactly. So let's move on.
Can I
Wait,
say
she can't do
something?
what?
Let me
hey.
chime in. Hold up. Let me
The
chime in.
simple
Let's
fact
Nothing
break
she
fact.
said.
Let's use
Nothing she
stats.
said made sense because she
Can we
can't.
use
She
stats?
look real quick. She can't find a stat where it says majority of black
it's
men
the
are
simple
hurting black
fact.
women.
Wait,
I could
She
give
can't
you a
find
stat.
that.
I could give you a stat. Two black women just got shot up 20 times in a car at a stoplight for
That's not a
But
nothing.
stat.
That's
That's not a
That's
but
a
they
stat.
stat.
using black
Women
men.
no,
getting
I
killed
can give
every day. Women
no,
getting
But
killed
but
that
every day in
I
different
can
states
give
every
you I can
day.
give you
Women
more
go
than
missing
that.
every day. So
Can
how is
I
that
I
not
say
a
can give
stat?
you
something? Can I
I
say
can give you
something?
I
This
but
can
is
give
organ.
hold on.
But once,
He
can I
said I
say
couldn't give
something?
stats. I can give you
You said
statistical
real
data
quick. You said
from the hold on.
majority.
You asked
You
for
said
hey,
stats,
majority,
so I'm
by
watch
the
giving
way.
watch
it
my
to you.
stats, brother. Let her give us stats. Go ahead.
I can give you statistical data and you can look it up where I got my information from. I looked at the femicide rate from Femicide USA coupled with with the homicide numbers of black women and children collected by the FBI. Hold on. Collected by the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Go to the
Hello,
Federal
Missy.
Bureau.
Hello,
Okay,
Mr.
I
Baby.
can't. It's no respect. It's
Now let
none.
her finish, bro. Let her finish. She
It's
gonna she
it's
gonna do it her
it's
own
no
way.
listen. It's no respect from these men. I'm talking about men in the world. Period.
Hello,
So
That's
stay
why.
stay
Rhonda.
That's
focused. Stay
why.
focused. That's
How did
that's
That's
a
we get
troll.
back?
That's a
listen.
troll. Get rid of the
Stop
troll.
stop talking over me, bruh. For real. For I
No, he
put
was
y'all in the dirt. Like it's no respect from no men.
Hey, get that troll off stage.
Oh
Okay, hold
my
up. Who is
God.
That's so aggravating, but it's no respect with the men, period, in this world towards the women. And I'm telling you this from as a gun owner. When I went and picked up my own gun, the man who sold me my gun at the shop told me it's best for all women to get a gun because ain't no men protecting us.
Back to
And
resilient.
from a
I
man
want
to
that.
from a man to tell me that, that's why I got plenty guns over here because men don't protect us. We got to protect ourselves.
That's cute. Yo, resilient. Can you show me those stats that you talked about?
Yeah. So
So I have a
if you go to the Federal Bureau of Investigations and filter the homicide rate among women, and they will give you the numbers by race of the homicide rates. Black women have the highest homicide rate of any other woman on the face of the planet. And then they'll also give you statistical data on the assailants who have been caught and tried for these crimes, and 93% of the assailants in black women murders is black men.
So does that mean that
that's not
black
right.
men
That's right.
hate
She
black
I
women?
got the
Like
stats
what
right here. That's wrong.
Hold
yeah,
on,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
because you're only wanting to listen to statistical data that's going to
We're taking the
prove.
emotion out of it, right?
Yeah,
So
well, let's take the emotion out. Let's go by stats.
I'm
Okay. Hold up. Let me
actually
you
I'm
spoke. Let me get let
actually
me
hold on?
speak.
very
Let me
Hold
speak.
on.
Let me speak. Let
I'm
me speak.
actually very calm. I don't have
Let me
any
I'm
speak.
waiting
emotion.
for
Let
you
me
to show
speak.
the
Let me
data
make my
that you want
point.
me to research for myself. I think the burden
How do you want me to show it? I'm
because the
confused.
burden
We're
of
on an
proof is
app.
on you.
But how can I show
You
you
made
something? I'm
you
telling
made
you
a
where to go.
ridiculous claim, man. You said the
I'm telling
majority
you
of
where.
black
how is
men.
this
Hold
She
on.
said the
Can I
majority
say
of black
something?
men.
So
What?
she's
I'm
saying
telling you
majority of
Hello?
the
specifically where to
That's a
go.
crazy thing to
Hello?
How can
say.
I
You
He
need to
show
didn't
you?
listen
substantiate that.
because she said the minority of black men are the ones that are doing the killing. The
No, she
majority of
did.
the
She
black
said the
men are men
majority.
that
You're
are
lying.
normal. No, I'm not. That's what
Wait a
she
minute.
said.
That
what
is
she's
what.
saying, what she's saying is majority of the murders are done by black men.
Right.
She's not
Thank
saying
you.
majority.
Thank
She's
you.
not saying
Thank
majority
you.
black
Didn't say that
men.
like that.
But
No,
I
which,
want
I
y'all to
did
know what
say
she
but
meant.
which
Can I
is
you just couldn't
can I
understand
say
it.
something without all the argument? I just want to say something really, really quick. This is Erica again. Um, and some of you all are going to be really mad about what I'm about to say, but I've done the long, extensive research. Here's the thing, too, is that number one is that most of the people these days are adults now in the 1980 era. when the white man put the drugs inside of our communities. So at that point, a lot of mothers and fathers was on crack, and they wasn't able to raise our children because of the drugs. That's number one. But and without doing any type
Hold on, and I'm gonna let you
So
finish,
she
but
blaming this on the
don't blame
pain.
Black
the.
women just cut
Hold
off the
on,
black
Eric.
woman, by the way.
Come on,
I
let's
just
stay where
wanna,
we at. Let's stay where we
I
at.
just wanna, Erica. And I'm gonna let you finish, but don't blame drugs because you can put a gun, you can put drugs, you can put anything in front of a person. It's their choice whether or
to
not
do
My
it.
they
mom and
choose
daddy
to
didn't do
partake in
drugs.
it.
I don't
I,
know
She's
though.
I
asking you to
wasn't
erase the
I
whole crack
wasn't really
epidemic, Erica.
I
That's what
would
she's telling you
love
to
to
do.
hear her finish saying what she was saying.
Yeah, Erica, could you please finish?
Thank you. I was just basically no, you she's absolutely right. We everybody has a choice, but back in those days their choices
Was
was drugs.
drugs. They
So
choice
that
was drugs.
that's right. The choices was the drug. And so when you have whatever type of drug, whatever type of addiction whatever type of addiction that person had, that was a point at that time where we stopped raising our children. We kept having children, but stopped raising our children. Okay. So she's right. It's a choice. We all have choices. And then another thing is that, again, y'all going to be mad at me when I say this, but us women, we are the teachers of the family. We are the ones that we can make peace in the home and we can bring hell in the home. We're the ones that say your daddy is a fucker, dad beat or whatever. We're the ones that can say you better respect your father. No, if he don't come around, you still need to respect your father. We are the teachers. So if we have that many men in the world that are violent, like the sister said, if we have that many men that are murdering, if we have that many men that are in gangs, then
Don't
where
do it.
are where are our old school mothers that
Don't
were
do it.
Let
Don't
her
blame.
finish.
She can't. She's blaming women for men's behavior.
You still
no
got to let
what
her finish if you disagree.
She not
Let her
blaming
land.
women. She's not blaming women at all.
See,
Cause
that's the
men
Okay,
was
problem. We
on
don't
drugs
listen. We
too.
don't listen.
okay,
Yeah,
but
y'all not
oh,
hold on,
listening.
hold on. Let
okay,
her land, and
no,
when
no,
she's finished,
I'll go ahead and I'm finished. Anybody can take the mic. I
That's
wasn't finished
You
crazy.
No, I
wasn't
want to
yet.
go
finished
back to the
though. No,
guy.
I was
I wanna hear what you got to say because that's crazy. Because you wasn't just putting everything on women. Like
Well,
now y'all no resident. Now you in your feelings too because that's
No, please.
crazy. That's
It's
no,
crazy.
real,
We got to leave
man.
our feelings at the door
That
when we just
Dallas,
told the men that.
Dallas. I understand what you're saying. It's resilient, but she just said that I listen to people. I listened to her very carefully. She said black women are the teachers. We control the environment. And if it's so many men killing, murdering, and all this, where are the black women? So she took it
But
to,
it's
at the
true
end of
though.
the
But
day,
that's real
it's
true.
not
That's
true.
real
It
true.
is because a lot of
Can I say
women
something
not
real quick?
raising their kids. Men gonna act
Uh,
how they were
let's
raised.
stop over talking each
and
other.
I'm saying that because my mama didn't raise me, man. A lot of women not raising their kids, and I'm born in the
And
'90s.
that's
Hey,
facts.
I'm 30 years
Where was
old.
the
It's
father?
what
Where was
like
the father?
ain't no fathers raising nothing either. Ain't no mothers, ain't no
Shit.
fathers. But look, you talking about where was the fathers? My daddy was there. My daddy, I live with my
I'm here for
grandma
my
on my
kids.
daddy's side. Listen, I live with my grandmother on my father's side, and my father was there 24/7, even though he was in the
Darling,
military.
can I
Even
ask
though
you
he
a
was in the
question?
military, my daddy came and took me from my grandma and put me on the road with him.
Can
So
I ask you a
y'all talking
question,
about
darling?
fathers? It's real fathers out there.
But what I'm
But
saying is you
Dollar,
can
can I
Got
never
ask
one.
you a
put the
Dollar,
blame
can I
on
ask
a
you a
single
clarifying
mother.
question? Would you say that in a black family, as we know it, would you say it's the majority mothers raising the children, or it's the majority fathers raising the children?
What?
And it's a no. No, it's not. No, can I say it's a?
I asked
She asked
Dollar.
me, but she asked me. It's a 50% chance, like because it's men out here that's full
No,
time
not a
fathers.
chance.
It's men that's out here full time fathers. Where's they mothers? Like it's men in my age bracket got full custody of all their kids. I
I'm
ain't never seen their
asking,
mother.
I'm
Never.
asking you specifically. I understand about a 50-50 chance. I'm not asking about chances. I'm asking you about reality. Is it
Reality,
more women who are single mothers
it's
or
more. Let me cut
fathers?
you off. Let me cut you off right there. It's more grandmothers out here raising these kids, not mothers. Sorry.
What are
I
y'all
said, well, I said
saying?
women. I said women. Whether it be the biological mother, the grandmother, is it more women or is it more men?
It's a 50-50. It's not no
No,
Okay.
it's
more. It's
If
half and
if that's
statistically
half.
if
what you're
that's
saying,
the
dollar is not
reality
true.
that you live in, then I'll
It's
accept it.
half and it's half and
We
half.
where
Like
we from, we see
we
more
from
men taking
like
care of
what
their kids
like
than
ma'am,
women.
I'm
I
from Florida.
think
I don't know where y'all from, but I'm from
Yeah,
Listen,
Jacksonville.
popcorn style, or what we
I'm
got
from
going here?
excuse me one mic. I'm from Duval County where I don't see nothing but men. Half of these people is men raising their kids. Like what? Like I don't
This
know where you from, but down here in Florida, down here in the Gunstein State, whatever, however y'all say it,
the
down
gun
here,
county.
yeah, down
China,
here,
China, may I speak?
like down here, these women are not raising their kids.
I think we have
They
to
not in
remember
Houston
that
either,
there's been a
motherfucker.
rise in single fathers
Yes,
too.
there been a big rise in single fathers. Like people tripping, like
They
get
living in
them,
the
But dollar,
past,
what
sis.
I'm
They
tell
living
the
in the
saying,
man to
past.
let the man pat themselves on their back because it's men out here taking care of their kids.
right?
Yeah, there
So
are.
what?
But somebody said,
But
can
according to a
somebody
girl,
wanted to
all
ask
of
a
us kill
question?
black
Actually,
women.
Hold on. I'm speaking, guys. Somebody wanted to ask a question to me.
I have a question for Dollar. Like, I understand like single fathers exist, but we're talking about real statistics. Like, and statistically, black single mothers outnumber black single fathers, period. So what Erica was saying is she was kind of trying to put the responsibility on black single mothers, saying, oh, it's your fault that these
Hey, I'm
black
sorry.
men.
I'm sorry. I took my AirPod out because somebody was talking to me in my background. Can you repeat it?
Oh,
I'm
what I'm saying is
sorry.
all it's fine. All what I'm saying is, although y'all might see black single fathers statistically, so for everybody, the majority black single mothers far outnumber black single fathers. So
Lafayette,
what
can I
Erica,
piggyback off of you?
one second. So what Erica was saying is she basically was blaming black single mothers for the black men who are harming black women. Like, and
She also
that's
said they
crazy.
control the household.
Can
So that
I
mean
finish?
multiple.
Can
That
I
stop.
mean one guy.
finish
No, stop
Wait,
though?
cutting.
stop,
We don't
Stop
we
Y'all,
don't know
y'all
cutting.
what
gotta
Erica
stop.
was saying.
Let
Stop.
me.
Hey, y'all
But
stop. Let him
Like,
so
speak.
all I was saying is I just think that that's crazy because it's like you cannot fault a woman for trying to do the job of the father and the mother when the father is absent.
Can I say something in response to that?
Can I
Um,
respond because he was
I,
talking to me?
oh,
Then
okay.
I'm gonna let you respond.
Erica never got to finish her initial statement
Okay, well
though.
let Erica
Exactly.
finish because organic, you
And the
got beef
new
with me anyway. I'm gonna just be
and
go
real
back on
quick,
mute.
Dollar, and the new
No,
people who
I don't
came
want to
on
answer
stage.
nothing else because it seems like
No,
when
no, no.
y'all
I'm
talk,
not asking you
no,
a question
it's like
about
when
that.
y'all
But
talk to me, these men
listen,
always.
Dollar, just listen. I'm
Dollar
talking
chill.
about
I
the
got your
queue.
back, sis.
After she gets done, can we give the new people who came on stage an opportunity to speak to the conversation? We need to get the queue
Please.
back going.
Please.
if you want,
Okay. Yes.
hold on. If you want to speak after Erica, can you just back channel me? Thank you.
I don't want to talk. My y'all just read my bio. I don't got no more rep.
We not tripping. You got your opinion. Everybody got their opinion. But I just want to say this quickly. Guys, like I said before, the toxicity is in both genders. We have a fucked up community. We can't just blame the men and we can't just blame the women. Goes
Absolutely.
Come on, guys. We're never gonna get nowhere. It's your fault, niggas. No, it's your fault. No,
Hold
come
No,
on,
on, bro.
no, no, G
hold
shit.
on.
I,
Did
I
Erica
I
get
agree with
paid?
I agree with DJ because it's like we keep putting everything on the men, but what about these bitches ain't never take care of us?
Yeah, they
Y'all
opening their
tripping.
legs. What the
Wait,
fuck?
wait,
No,
wait,
really
Dollar,
tripping.
Dollar,
Like
Dollar.
a
Whoa,
lot of
whoa,
us
whoa.
children. No,
Hold
a
Black
lot
on.
of us
women.
children. I'm talking. A lot of us children, and I'm a grown
Don't call
woman. A
black
lot of
women bitches. Don't
I'm
do it.
calling
I
I'm
thought
calling
we
them
How are you
were
bitches
gonna
done
call
though.
because I
women
was
bitches?
I'm calling them bitches because it seems like that's the only time y'all listen when niggas
Are
call
you
us bitches.
serious? As a black
It's
woman,
as
Yeah,
a
some
what?
black
people have
woman.
internalized
No, I'm just saying
misogyny.
as
Let
a
Dollar finish. Let her
I'm just
finish.
saying
No,
as a
but you
black
can't
woman,
call
it
black
seems like
women bitches.
you said it, but
Let's let's
no, but y'all saying that we're not going to be ghetto. It seems like that's
Hold
the
on.
only time
China,
y'all
can you
listen
check
when
this?
ghetto
This
is
is
out
not
here.
No,
okay.
we don't.
China,
Facts.
can you check this? This is
listen.
not okay. to be calling black women bitches in a
Oh,
black
come
woman's
on,
face.
man.
Man,
It's
now
out
you
of
you
line.
just told the men to leave.
Will
They
be a
no,
woman
because
calling black women
y'all
bitches
just
like it's
told
she
the
not a
y'all
man.
crazy. Y'all just told the men to leave their feelings at the door and look at y'all with y'all
You
feelings in
think
y'all
I,
pockets.
hold
Ladies.
Y'all
on.
crazy. I don't got no
Now,
more
in
rap for
this young
y'all
room,
at
do we
all.
want this to go on for women to sit up and be disrespecting black women, calling us bitches? That's ridiculous, Dolly. You so male identified. It's
I'm
no
not
hope
male
for you, sis.
identified.
It's no hope for you, sis. It's
You say
no
it's no
hope for
hope for
you.
me. You say it's no hope for me, but my grandmother and my father
It's no
raised me, not
hope
my
for you, sis.
mother. Not
It's
my
So
you
mother.
are
feel
It's
you
like
no
you
saying
hope
that
for
you
feel
call
you.
women
like
bitches?
you
It's
so
no hope
So
for
male
you.
identified
That's
in this
crazy.
place.
That's
all right,
crazy. You want to argue, kind of.
everybody
I'm
needs to
no
leave.
trying to because I've
No,
been
I ain't got
very
no words for you.
respectful.
You're
No, I've been very.
disrespectful.
You say you don't got no words for me, but you keep talking to
You're
me. Stop talking.
disrespectful. And
Like,
you need
stop
to stop
talking to
talking.
me.
I'm
Stop
sorry.
talking to me. I don't need to apologize to y'all nothing because you was
Okay,
the
let
only
me
one that felt defended.
Sis,
It's
you can
like
think,
when
sis,
it
you
was
can
let
like
me
apologize
go
it's
to
like
ahead
when
and
everybody.
I'm
let
not
me go ahead.
apologizing to them. I'm not apologizing to them at all. You know why?
Hold
Because
on,
when
Dollar.
y'all
Let me
call them bitches, yeah, like y'all,
I
I
don't
this
don't
shit
call
call
them
black
crazy.
bitches.
women
Dollar, let me
bitches.
go.
No, I'm
All
just
right, so
saying,
the next
Hezekiah.
person,
women
hold
never
on,
hear.
hold on.
No,
I get that y'all want to argue. That's cute.
I'm
I
not
get it that
being
everybody want to
I'm
argue.
not being
Everybody is
offended.
making a point, and everybody is speaking from their own personal experience, and you can't fault that. Y'all have. It's okay to disagree to agree to disagree. It's all right. Y'all don't have to argue all of the time, man.
but it's not.
But
But listen,
is
it
it
don't even be
okay?
argument. Like,
Is it okay in a black woman safe space for anybody to call black women bitches? Is that
She didn't mean it like that. Come on, man.
and I didn't, and I
Resilient is
didn't.
so
She
toxic,
And
really
I
man.
did, and
didn't.
she real
She really
toxic. Like
didn't.
you
I'm not
real
offended
toxic.
by
Like
it. Like she
you the
But
didn't.
only
y'all
one in
call
here
each other
offended,
that every
man.
day.
Over your
Y'all
sister.
call y'all homegirls
Y'all say
bitches
that every
every
I
day.
day.
don't.
Y'all text
I
y'all
don't.
friends, bitch. Check this out. Let me tell you this.
All right, so
Stop muting me, lady. Lady, stop muting me.
Yeah,
Please
you
stop
mad
muting me.
aggressive.
I didn't mute
Dollar,
you. I
if
didn't
it's
do
me,
that.
it's
I didn't.
all
opinionated.
right,
I'm
look.
muting you
Resilient is
because
toxic.
we
That's all I
got to
want to
move
say.
Y'all got so
on.
many moderators.
So we do
It's
have
okay. I'ma just head
I'm a
out and go.
Hey,
I'ma
one
just
one
head out.
mic, one
Listen, I'ma
mic.
just head out myself and go to my own room.
Dollar,
Cause it's
No,
like we
stay,
can't,
Hey,
we
please,
can't.
stay,
sis,
No,
enjoy your
no.
Sunday,
Dollar,
okay?
the
Y'all
thing
enjoy
is,
y'all
stay.
Sunday too. I gotta go to
No,
work at
stay.
It's
6.
because I'm
No, I'm
taking
not
up for black
staying.
women in
Okay,
a
No,
who's
black
you're
next in
not.
the
woman's safe
queue?
You're not
space.
Who's
taking up
next
for
in the
black
queue?
women. You
Moving
Resilient
taking
is
on.
up for
toxic.
yourself.
Because
You
you're not
taking up for
holding black women
yourself.
accountable for
You
the
taking
things
up
that
for
we do.
yourself. Like we bash niggas all day, men all day. Right? Like y'all crazy. Y'all be in y'all fucking feelings too
Like, can we
much.
get some order in the
let me
room,
speak to you
please?
right quick. This is opinionated.
Okay, I'm
I'm
listening.
from
you do.
Louisiana. Yes, babe. I'm from Louisiana. I know how you're speaking. You're not calling them bitches. That's just how we do it
Hello.
sometimes.
That's just how
Bitch
we do.
slips
Like
out.
we call our friends bitches all day. Bitch, let me tell you this, bitch. Like, but when
Okay,
men
so
do it, we're
hold on,
offended.
Dollar.
No.
Right, hold on. But women, I
Hold
don't
on,
need. I
opinionated. I
need
can't
you to
hear
take.
you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's really low.
Yeah, it's low.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need y'all to take the message that she's giving you instead of attacking her on one single word, and that was the bitch word.
Right.
Because I know y'all heard her message. Let's stop talking over one another and let's start listening to everybody because my dialect is not going to be Denat's dialect. It's not going to be somebody else's dialect. She's from Florida. I'm from Louisiana. We say bitch is a lie. In fact, I restrain myself on here because I know I'm going to offend some people. But that flies out of my mouth. It's where I'm from. It's our culture. Does it
Hello.
make it right to us? It do. I mean, to y'all, it may not be that way. So I'm gonna bring everybody back up. Men, please stop taking the conversation and making two people fight about it. Mute your
So,
mics, even if you're mods. Mute
Man,
your
why you
mic.
keep moving me down? I didn't even say
all right.
shit.
So, the next person that want to speak is Big Rob. Let's go. I want to hear what he has to say too.
What's up, y'all? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, across the world. Um, because I just speak to the town. I hear what everybody's saying, because I was raised by a single father, and I don't want to put more emphasis on a woman because the raising single fatherhood speaks to our community and to problems in our community, whether it be poverty, drug use, and we need to talk about that. And yeah, we can't blame single mothers for black man for some black man who's hurting who abusing black women because They're not really showing how to be man by other men. It still needs to be a man in the household. You know what I'm saying? Just like being on offense, a football team ain't gonna work without a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? In basketball, you can't pull the ball up. You don't have a point guard. So that's what I gotta say.
Wait, where's Resilient?
She's here. She's right there.
Oh, oh.
Hey, Miss China, could you tell them stop moving? People moving me down. I was quiet. I wasn't even saying nothing. People kept moving me down. I don't know who's doing this.
Same.
They need to stop.
DJ, I moved you because you kept coming
You
off
need to
your mic
chill, man.
making
This ain't your
noise.
room.
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm
opinionated.
not
You
Then
gonna
you
chill
move
do.
out,
you.
DJ. Chill out, bro.
DJ,
And
chill out, bro.
at the end of the
Opinionated. You
day,
you do
DJ,
be taking
this is what the
tyrannical
owner
What's
control.
is
that?
asking
Ah,
us
no,
to
no,
do.
no
Hold on,
opinion.
guys.
You're
Hold
not
on.
gonna
Hold
disrespect
on. Hold
opinionated
on.
in
Hold
this
on.
room, dog.
Nigga,
Yeah, that's
I
kind
didn't
of
Yes.
disrespect. I
disrespectful.
said she need to
We're
chill.
doing
You need
what
to
we
How's
chill
that
out
can.
disrespect?
also. Shut the fuck up, man.
You
Let her
shut
do
the
what she wanna
fuck
do
up.
You shut up, nigga. Who you
You
talking
shut
to?
up, bitch.
in
You
this
not gonna
room.
disrespect me either.
Guys.
What's
Hey,
Hold
bro,
on.
you
wrong?
need to
What
get
are you
off
Let me
this
talk.
talking
page
Look,
and,
look,
about?
and
you
disrespect
talking to
some
her.
women and shit,
Like,
bro.
this is crazy.
Hey, y'all
Yeah,
be
he.
blessed in here.
But
Cause y'all
I
on
was
it
there
I
today.
ain't
talking to
even
Ping.
disrespecting. I said stop moving me down. And this nigga running his mouth.
But you worry about another nigga that you
Y'all in
can't even
this,
get to,
y'all
bro.
in
Stop
here
disrespecting
wildin',
women,
bro.
bro. Get the fuck off this page, bro.
Nigga, eat a dick, nigga.
Y'all wow.
Okay,
let's.
who wanted to thank y'all for speaking up for me, brothers? I appreciate you.
Is A still in the
DJ, I
room?
wasn't
Yeah, I'm still here.
yeah, I wasn't trying to disrespect you, DJ. Is that when I saw you, your mic was open. Dollar was trying to speak, and whoever mic was open, I was moving them down.
Yeah, but
I'm
With
sorry,
that
DJ
man,
being
but did I
said,
disrespect you
opinion,
by saying don't move me down?
opinion. He
I'm
was
just
just
being
agreeing.
honest.
He was just
I get
agreeing
that.
with
I
me
get
when
that.
he was when I'm not gonna keep saying her name because
I
she's
mean, but
real
that's not fair to
confrontational.
move somebody down because they don't agree with
I
you.
get it. Hold on, y'all. I get it, but we're trying to restore order at the same time. We keep forgetting that it's people listening in the audience, so it kind of makes it hectic when you're listening in the audience. So, with that being said, who wants to speak next?
The next person is A.
Can I
Hi,
speak also?
everybody. I'm here. I hope all is well. I just want to be pretty short and brief. Um, if we look at the amount of hours that we actually spend with our kids, I think they're actually around white people more and around each other than they are around any parent. And that's the way this system is. That's the way the system is designed. So we're all working. This shit. We have to look at each other for the blame. That's the point of keeping us in circular toxicity because we are around each other, so we don't see the system every day. Even though we're in the system every day, we don't look them in the eyes and be like, what part are you playing in dividing my family? What part are you playing in keeping us from spending time with our kids? And so if we actually break down the numbers a day, parents are not actually spending that much time with their kids. And I don't care if it's the mother or the father, the cousin or the grandma, they're spending the most time with themselves outside in the community or with their teachers or like white people. And so when you talk about the influence that is being had on them in their minds, we're talking about TV, which is white. We're talking about school, which is white, and then we're talking about in the streets, which is not right. And so, at what point do we say pointing the finger at each other is not going to be to any avail because the problem is the system. We want to be at home with our kids, but we stressed out working. And let's be real, when you stressed out working, when you come home, you don't have that much great energy for your kids to begin with. And so we trying to figure out how we going to do this, how we going to do that, how we going to do this, how we going to do that. And our kids is literally out here raising themselves. And so when we look at our parenting, yeah, my mom worked all the time to take care of me, and my dad was in the home, my mom was in the home, but who was having the biggest influence over me? Neither one of them. And that's just me keeping it a buck. So I wanted to see my mom more. I wanted to see my mom more, not my dad. I wanted to see my mom more, but she worked. And so all she had to give me was a love or a hug or a kiss, but that was about it. A nice little wise statement she would drop, and then she got to go right back to work. So the problem is bigger than we looking at each other. The problem is way bigger. And I don't want to negate the fact that black women are protected because Malcolm X said it best. The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. And so when men are saying that It is upon the woman's character as to whether they will know how to protect or provide. You can't say that when we are literally a nation together. So you're saying we have to have a certain character to be protected? That's flawed thinking. Because if we are not protected, we cannot birth another nation. And last time I checked, we are the ones birthing nations. And so if you're going to say we need a certain character, because we're dealing in this fucked up system, in this fucked up world, we need another character to be protected. Then black women, on the other hand, you need to take that response and say, I need to protect myself and mine. When I had my baby and she was born into this world, you think I was looking at her father to be like, protect us? Hell no. I felt the rise in my spirit to say, I will protect this girl by any means necessary. I will protect myself by any means necessary. I will protect my family by any means necessary. Now, if a man joins you in that feeling in your heart and that spirit, then you got a monster. You working with a monster. You working with a team. But if you have to stand by yourself, you better stand, because looking around and expecting or waiting for somebody to come save you, you will be waiting all your life and you will be
Facts.
complaining. Lead by example. Be the example that you want to see. So if you want a man or a man come in your life and he see you strapped up, loaded, and you tell him, look, I'm gonna protect mine by any means necessary, guess what he's gonna do? Fall in line. He's gonna protect you and yours by any means necessary. But if you sit there and be like, I'm waiting for you, he waiting for you, y'all waiting for each other. And so then we're gonna be waiting until Jesus come back again. And we know Jesus ain't coming back because Jesus is here, because Jesus is us. So with that being said, knowing that we have the power standing here today, then what are you gonna do with your power? Words are not working anymore. You have to lead by example, or else these kids will continue to be led astray. Let's talk about what's going on in the system. Women are dying on the birth table. Men talking about providing. Do y'all know what providing is? It's not just monetary. You have to be the presence for her. This is what white men fear. When a black man is in that hospital, do you think he's gonna try to kill your wife? Absolutely not. When she go in that hospital and give birth by yourself, do you think they're gonna try to kill her and do something to the baby? Absolutely, because the black man's presence is missing. So y'all need to actually level up in your thinking as to what it means to provide. What it means to provide. It means to provide, and you got to be have a presence in the school. You have to have the presence in your if your wife needs you to pull up, you have to have your presence there. You have to have your presence in the medical system. When these people know that the black man is standing on every corner of the earth, trust me, they will not step. Okay, they will not step. But if he waiting for the black woman to act a certain way for him to step up, then that'll just be on him. Then go hang around with your boys and do what you do. Black women, I will tell you, if you are being left with these children, it is on you to do your job and lead by example. Black men, if you are being left with these children, it is on you to do your job and lead by example. And trust me, people will fall in line to action instead of words. So let's get our spirits right, and let's get our minds right, because your greatest protection is in the spiritual world, and white people know that. Okay, that is your greatest protection. You
Land
better
the plane.
align it. You better align it, okay? And so they know they keep you distracted with all this psychobabble bullshit so that you don't know where your true protection is, where your true army is. When you know they say you command the angel to come protect me, I say I command the angels to come protect me now. So when you moved out the way and that car just might be happening to hit you, just know you have people on your side. Your ancestors didn't die and go away. Your ancestors are with you. So know the power that you have and lead by example. And trust me, like I said, everybody will fall in line. And that's even the opposition. When we start to know who we are and walk in power, everything will fall in line. And then maybe we can actually save the planet that belongs to us. Thank you.
Amen.
Passion,
Where y'all keep
passion. That's
No,
dropping
good.
at?
thank
Oh,
you,
where y'all keep
thank
dropping at?
you.
Amen,
I appreciate
sister.
that.
I say
Hey,
this
I
She was, hey,
every
co-sign
she was
that
even
day.
with a
keel. I
lot of the
love that.
things she said.
At
That's
the
it.
end of the day,
Hey,
like
I
she
say this
said, y'all,
every
it
day.
starts at
Every
home. It
Measy,
starts with
Measy,
us.
am I lying?
Every day,
We speak this every day.
every day,
Every
get your
day.
spirit right.
Every day I tell these girls, these men to get your spirit right, because you are the power. Like, we have the power in our hand. He tell us we have not because we ask not. Ma'am, I get we do a spiritual reading every day in our room. Like, I give spiritual candles to my girls and my brothers in my room every day. Every day they get a candle when I go by 'em. You know why? Because we need to tap into our powers. We need to get into our ancestors. Our ancestors is here for us. But if you don't know that, listen, babe, I give my ancestors wine and fruit every time. Every time I light my candle. And when my candle done in 7 days, they've been done ate it and drunk their wine with me. Not being here tripping like, did that really just happen?
Hey, I want to say
I
something. This is
wanna
Lisa the
I
National. May I?
appreciate that,
hold on,
sis.
wait, hold on. Let me speak. So, if anybody would like to respond to A, you can, and then after, the next set or in the queue is Denia and all up.
I'd like to
I'd like
respond
to
to that.
respond to A. I'd like to respond really quickly. Just one point. I appreciate everything she said, and I understand where she's coming from. The only thing that I'd like to change is I understand that Malcolm X made that comment. That yes, the most unprotected person is a black woman, but I like to change that these days because black children don't have no protection. If their mama not there, if their daddy not there, black children are unprotected. You got people out here preying upon our black children, trying to start our black children into things that they don't belong in. So that's the only thing I had wanted to say, and I'll land my plane.
Thank you.
This is Lisa the National. I want to say something towards like the parents always working and stuff. So my dad had two jobs and my mom had two jobs. Grew up in Miami, and not once did I ever feel like the sense of abandonment because of work, because the time that they did spend with me, it was really full of love, and I think that's important. I think that is very important. And there are other things that are being said. There's this statistical rhetoric that people like to throw around in America, and even instead of like remembering the codes in which to live by, we remember things like, oh, the most discriminated against or the most disrespected is the black woman. But at the same time, there's so much love to pass around, and you keep that type of negative rhetoric in your head, then you go into warrior mode instead of love mode with your own kind. And I think it's very important to really look at the other side. Not only that, my background is in economics, right? So the best way to get people to spend more money is to break them apart. You'll have some people together and some people apart. So they'll be like, oh, 50% divorces. Then the question is, why do they choose to advertise this stuff and break up the household? It's because you come into your own, you want your own kitchen, you want your own sink, you want your own this, you want your own that, and it's two rents now instead of a team coming together. And then we're so focused on, oh, the man is to lead, and then if they have a problem feeling like they're not leading, then they want to leave or do things and say stuff to control the situation, whatever. But at the same time, like, my parents are not from the US and I saw things very differently. It wasn't about who is the lead. It was literally about two leaders coming together and having the teamwork. So I feel like the definition needs to change.
Thank you so much. Denia, you would you like to speak?
Yes, I've been in this room for a while, and because I came in because I've been in rooms with China before, and she is a dynamic speaker, and so I saw the title and I was like, oh, let's see what we're talking about. I think the problem that we have when it comes to the whole situation of protecting Black women is that it wasn't, especially when it came to this room, what China was saying gets pushed over. We're going to everything else but the fact of what's going on, especially when it comes to the discrimination in the hospital. I'm gonna be as quick as I can with this situation. So my mom passed from colon cancer a couple years ago. We would have known. I think it was in 2017, July 2017. We went to the hospital. She had been feeling bad, so she said she wanted to go to the doctor. We didn't really go to the doctor because we were doing holistic stuff, and so when I knew she said she wanted to go to the doctor, something was wrong. We go there. Now, mind you, once we got there, we found out, after transferring hospitals, we found out how long she had been sick. But my biggest thing is that the first hospital could easily look at her and know that something was wrong more than just anemia. And instead of saying that, they kept on and on and on, pushing things off. When she was saying it has to be something more, it has to be something more. Everyone pushed it off until it hit that it was not just colon cancer, but liver cancer. So when we have those conversations about are Black women listened to when it comes to the hospital, it took for my mother to have to call her doctor sister for people to really get it. when it came to situations with her in the hospital. So no, black women aren't listened to in the hospital like they should be. And that's the kind of thing. So when it came to the whole thing about black women being protected, the fact that they've had to stop this room so many times when this room specifically is ran by a black woman is exactly why this conversation needs to be had. The fact that we are having conversations regarding the fact of what happened with Sandra Bland and countless other black women who have been killed by police is why this conversation needs to be had. The fact that I literally am scared to drive a car because I know as soon as I walk out of the car, because I'm the same size as Sandra Bland, that intimidates people, and that well, more than the fact that I cannot get mad in public because the mother was afraid that the cops would be called immediately simply because of my size is the reason that we say black women need to be protected. It's not something that we're just saying. We're saying it because it's truth. We're not saying that black men don't need to be protected as well. We understand that. I promise you. That's why when it came to situations, when it came to all the marches, who was on the front lines of that? And you cannot claim that was not black women because we were there. That is no question about that. All we're saying is that the same way that we stand up for black men, the same way that we stand up for everybody, we deserve to have that same respect and protection. My name is Adan. I'm done speaking.
Thank you, sis. And I just want to say I'm so sorry for your loss of your mother. I, I, anybody who's lost a parent, I definitely can identify with that. I
I can
lost my mom
identify.
in December of 2020. She went into hospital, walked into the hospital with COVID, and she never walked again. And got diagnosed with blood cancer, and I took care of her into her dying days. So I definitely understand exactly where you're coming from, and
I
I just
can
speak
definitely.
strength. I speak strength into you, and I just admonish you to continue to lean on whatever spiritual beliefs that you have, and know that the body might die, but energy never dies, and she's still with you.
I can
Mhm.
relate to that as well. Um, this is Lady Nia speaking. I was 20. I wasn't even actually 21 yet. My mom was a paraplegic. My mother was in a wheelchair, and the nurse wasn't coming and doing her daily cares like she was supposed to the point where my mother suffered from pressure sores. Is what the actual biological term for it. But in normal terms, they call them bed sores. The nurse wasn't coming and cleaning the sores like she was supposed to. It started from the size of a dime that ended up
They
to the
can end
point
up to the size of a
where
watermelon, and I'm in that field.
I could take my fist and I could knock on her bone. I could
Damn.
literally touch it. That infection spread it to my mother's heart. I was a baby. I didn't know how to make those decisions. But every day, I kept telling the doctor, something's not right. No, he kept sending her home with just random antibiotics. And I was a kid. Again, I'm juggling school. I got kids of my own, and I have to take care of my dying mother. This time of year is hard for me because November 6th was the day my mom was escorted to the hospital to never come home again.
So sorry, sis. So sorry.
So
Sharing your
it's like, what do we do? How do we fight back? How can we protect those now?
Can I piggyback off of what you're saying, Lady Nia? Because I really think that it's important, and I know that when I speak about certain things, it can be very triggering to some people. But I try to get women, black women specifically, because My agenda and my number one priority whenever I open my mouth on this app is to serve and protect Black women. I don't censor anyone else. That's for me. And so I know some of the things that I say, people may think that I'm coming from a place of divisiveness, but I live in reality. And I understand the things in which Black women face on the day to day basis from the medical system, from the corporate world, from the violence against us. So when I speak about these things and we're asking, saying we're unprotected, who is supposed to be protecting us? That's what I'm saying. Is it the white man? Is it the system? Or is it our natural male counterparts? And that's why when we talk about protection, I do go to Black men. Because if we're being honest about the situation, just like A said, if the husbands were there, if the fathers were there, if the men were there, they insulate us from a lot of the things that we go through. And I know that it's a hard pill to swallow. And I don't mean to be divisive, but unless we're willing to tell the truth and get to the root cause of the issue, the infection will continue to spread. So it's not my intention to cause chaos, but it's always my intention to speak the truth so that we can be enlightened as a people. And I definitely, my heart goes out to all of the women. Like I said, we're sitting up here talking about the medical system. And as you can see, all of us share similar stories about how our mothers and our sisters died. My mom and my sister died 2 days apart. Do you understand what I'm saying? My sister died on Tuesday. My mama died on Thursday. My sister died getting dressed to come visit my mother on her deathbed. So I understand what y'all saying, and this shit is real to me. But when we talk about the protection, the first part of it, somebody has to respect you to want to protect you. And what's her name? Dollar. When I came at you about calling Black women bitches, it wasn't that I wanted to like try to chop your neck off. And I understand what you're saying now that you speak a certain way and you come from a certain area. What I meant by trying to correct you in love is to say we have to start demonstrating, like A said, we have to be the change that we want to see. We have to start demonstrating love and respect to each other as Black women in order to expect that from the men. That's all I'm trying to say, sis. And I'm gonna land my plane with this.
To speak on that, I pour in light into all my sisters. That's how I know you don't know me. I came in the room and I came in here at peace. Everybody started attacking me when I first made one comment, one. And then I left out the room and I came back and then I was attacked again. So however I speak, and if I came off on you at the wrong way, sister, I'm sorry. And I'm woman enough to apologize. I'm sorry if you
I
felt like I
appreciate
came
you.
out on you on the wrong way, but that's just how I talk. Like I talk like that because it seemed like when I try to talk professional, nobody gets it. Nobody. Everybody try to beat me down. Everybody try to be like, oh, okay, well, who she thinks she is because of the color of my skin, and I try not to be like that because my grandma raised me and I came from a wealthy family. So I know how to handle me. I was grown in a church. I was forced to be in a church. I didn't want to know God, but I had to learn him on my own. And when I found him, I saved my brother. God put me to the test. God made me change who I was to put myself to the test to see, well, your grandma planted all this in you, so do you really know what I taught you? And I had to and I really had to bring light to my family because if it wasn't for me, they all would have been lost. They'll all be a lost soul, but that's a different story. And I'm sorry, and I give my flowers to you, sister.
I appreciate that. And like I said, I never disrespect you. I'll never talk down to a Black woman because through all these stories we're hearing, we go through a lot. And the last thing that we need is to be attacking each other. And I know that we may not agree on a lot of points, and that's fine. We don't have to. But what we need to do is we need to respect each other and love each other, even if we disagree.
And I feel like that code should be extended to all of us. Like black men shouldn't be tearing black women down. Black women shouldn't be tearing black men down. We need to get on one accord, and really hold each other up. Because at the end of the day, this system loves us divided. It loves us divided. You know, we talk a lot about the femicide, but black men are killing men. It's a socio-economic violence. It's poverty. It's a mindset that's calling us to kill each other. And yes, across all races, the male does do more killing. That's not making an excuse, but in reality, we killing each other, period. That's the problem. Yes, too many black women are dying, too many children are dying. But at the end of the day, we have to support and protect one another. And yes, black men have to protect black women. And yes, we got to be mindful of when somebody comes in a room and says we need to divest from black men because we don't need them. We got to understand all black folks ain't kinfolk. And if they, no one is going to protect black women like black men. We just got to be honest about that and put our heads together and work on it.
Right. I mean I understand what you're saying, but you kind of speaking out of both sides, right? Because you're willing to acknowledge that black women aren't being protected, and then out of the same mouth, you say that nobody is going to protect black women like black men. You guys aren't protecting us. So you're talking about the system and how it's, trying to divide us, but the system is the only thing that black women actually have to rely on in order to get any type of protection. And as far as you said, we need to protect each other. We, as in black women, need to protect black men because it's not a woman's job to protect a man.
I'm
And you
not
talk
talking about
about
phys- I'm not I'm not talking about physically protecting, sis. I'm talking about not
And I,
allowing someone to say divest from black men because black men are not going to protect you and have that blanket
the
statement. Black
how
women need,
can you
I'm just saying black
how
women need
can
to
you
not.
not allow a black woman to say something? You can't control the mindset of another person. And if a black woman decides, looking at the state of the black community and black men's failure to protect her, that she chooses to nest in the community of the man who actually has the power to do so, you can't blame her for it.
But
can I
sis,
It's
can I
that's
blame.
but
wait
that's
one
not.
second? Can I
Go ahead.
respond to that? This is what I want to say. I want to say that this whole notion that the system of white supremacy, aka the court, child support, and all that shit that started after the 50s, is not in place to protect black women. It is to destroy the nuclear black family. Because we already know women were incentivized to get rid of the black man. Additionally, speaking of protecting on all levels, this whole no snitching code is the reason why black people are killing each other, in that the community is so toxic and there's a divide. In addition to that, there was an article released a couple weeks ago, and I did a whole room about it, that there exists empirical evidence showing that this whole notion of black on black crime doesn't exist. The police is in our neighborhoods killing us. So I don't want you guys to conflate the two and understand that when we're in our communities and you're talking about protection and all of that stuff, the system of white supremacy hide behind black women, and black women reinforce it. Just look at it on his face. How many black women coddled that what the white woman that was beat by um Zach Stacy, but ain't nobody cover the black woman that was beat by Chad Wilder, a white guy. So there's this double standard thing that's played out in society every single day.
So you
And if you're
using
not
that
trying, and
anecdotal
if you're not,
evidence.
and if you're not trying to acknowledge that, and you want to go ahead and divest, respectfully, I say to you that there's another stat that exists that shows that interracial couples have twice as much violence in them as mono racial couples, and these are actual facts. But what'd you say,
I'm trying to understand.
Lafayette? I'm not
Welfare
talking to
did,
you. Like
welfare
you,
did
Janiyah,
not.
I don't give a fuck. I can still speak.
Oh
I'm
my
talking to
goodness.
this woman. I'm trying to have a discourse with this woman. Like, stop, know your place, little boy.
So welfare did not take black men out of the home. I'm so tired of hearing it. It's so crazy. Black women would not have
Wait.
needed
Yes, they did
welfare.
though, because they
Yeah,
told you you
you.
Hold on,
couldn't
hold
have
on.
This
welfare if a
is
man lived with you. You can't get
Mimi,
Section 8 if a
Mimi,
man
That's
lived
the
Mimi,
with you.
truth.
You can't
That's
get
when
Mimi,
food
everyone
stamps
Mimi,
if
wasn't
a
on
man
welfare,
lived with
ma'am.
Nah,
Mimi,
you.
she's showing
Yep.
her.
Mimi,
She's showing her
Mimi,
lack of
Mimi.
Preach,
intelligence.
I'm
me,
speaking.
Measy.
Wait.
Y'all let her
Wait, you
finish
guys,
though.
listen. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You may not agree with what and that's completely fine. But the same way that I listened to what
You
Dante
low,
had
you
to
low.
say, even
Hold
though
on, we
I may
can't hear
not
you.
agree with him, and waited my opportunity to respond, still
Resilient, we
treated
can't
him
hear
with
you.
respect as a
Yeah,
black
stop.
man.
We can't hear you. Stop
Just let her
weaponizing.
finish. Just let her finish. We don't need to hear it. Just let her finish.
Can you guys hear
No,
me now?
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can.
we can.
Okay, so what I'm saying is welfare did not take black men out of the home.
That's a
If
lie.
black men were in the home being providers and doing what they were supposed to do as men, there would be no need for black women to get on welfare.
Oh,
If and there would be no need for Section 8 housing because he would be the provider of his family.
now let me correct you
Resil.
because when
Yeah.
welfare and
Hold
everything
on, hold on, hold
started,
on.
those families
Hold
worked
on. Before you
together.
start speaking, let me get out the room and come back in so I can hear you. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey,
Real
this is
quick,
what I'm
they
saying.
weren't together because the black men were in jail
Okay, go
because what
ahead.
happened.
My friend
Okay,
is
so what I
explaining
wanted to
Never
something.
say is
mind.
when welfare and food, when all of that started, those black men, yes, they were in the homes. But let's be clear, there was no jobs available for those black men to provide for their family. So they gave the woman an ultimatum. Hey, you come over here, we're going to provide for you, we're going to provide for your children, but we're not going to provide for your man. And instead of them women sticking by their man and sticking by the man that provided for them before the government came, they left them and they chose food stamps and welfare and HUD and Section 8 over
That's
their
okay.
man.
And
Wait,
they
They
taught
chose
their
that
wait.
over
children
the
to do
black
the
Let me
same.
man.
add
That's
something
not
real
true.
quick because I haven't
That's
spoken. So
false.
That is
real,
not true.
That is so false
Wait,
and
what?
as
One,
retarded.
someone
I
that's
don't even know
one
what to
second.
do.
One
hasn't
second.
spoke this
That
That's
whole
makes
fine.
no
time, I
sense.
got
One
facts
second.
for you guys.
Can I say this? Just 30 seconds. I believe
Yeah,
that
I'll
this
go
room.
after you.
eh, I believe that this room is filled with the Eurocentric ideology because we got to face the facts that previous to this welfare system, and specifically like in the 1950s when we were separated, the nuclear black family was doing well, and we were, stabilizing ourselves. So y'all got to understand that anytime black people, the nuclear black family and the black community has come together, white people have been jealous and destroyed it. So what I'm saying to you in this room is not unreasonable to say that the stats, the facts, and empirical evidence exist to show that Brown versus Board of Education, um, that was the worst thing to happen to us, and it destroyed the nuclear black family. And because of that, there's a lot of things that played out in society, and a lot of Bill of Rights and stuff that were put in place, which includes, but is not limited to, the welfare system that incentivizes.
Okay, no, Dante, what specifically about Brown versus the Board of Education do you feel like destroyed the black nuclear
Real
family? Dig into
quick
that a little bit
though,
more.
because I
Yeah,
still wanted to say what I
China,
had
can
to
I say
say.
something, please?
yeah. So what
China,
what
Who
it
is
No,
is?
please
speaking?
answer that question. That was a
Yeah,
great
I'm
question.
I
gonna
need to
answer.
say something.
I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna answer. So
When
here's the
will
thing.
people who haven't spoke be able to speak though?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, Maji. We're gonna.
After when he finished, I'm gonna let Maji go.
Right. Thank
Yeah,
you so
so
much.
historically speaking, it goes way back to the 1873 Colfax Massacre, Rosewood, Tulsa,
No,
Oklahoma.
let's talk
One
about
second.
Brown versus. No,
Are
Hold
you
on,
let's
let
not?
him
stay
finish.
there.
Hold
Nah,
on,
stop
Are you
resilient.
not?
picturing
Are you gonna
yourself as a
cut me off?
bisexual man.
Okay,
Lafayette,
I'm gonna be
matter
quiet
of
and
fact,
let
you
everybody
come
else
up here,
speak.
gas. I'm gonna remove you from the room and block you indefinitely. Like we're literally trying to have discourse. So here, what I'm saying to you is, every single time Black people have showed that we can be independent and thriving together as a nuclear Black family and community, white people have done things to come in and destroy it. So we can't sit here and say that this whole, incentivizing Black women to get rid of the Black man is not a byproduct of white supremacy. That's what I'm saying. And then it had not but for Brown versus Board of Education, we need separation. We don't need segregation. We need separation because at the end of the day, we are segregated in these red line communities. Um, while white people are completely separated, and they do it under the guise of saying we're included so that they could come and terrorize our neighborhood, come and take the property from our neighborhood. And like I said,
Black
before the
men
police
are
before the
terrorizing our
police
neighborhoods, though,
before the
Dante.
police started mass policing our communities, we were fine. So that's what I'm saying. Police and the government is the problem, not Black men. Thank you.
I'm glad you said that, Donat. Because honestly, before you start speaking, I was going to touch on that too. You basically said what I was going to say, but I was going to go more into detail because my dad was born in 1958, my mom was born in 1961. So I know exactly what happened. And we all really know, but why are we acting like we don't? You know, the CIA put drugs and all types of shit in our
That was the
community.
'80s. The '80s, yep.
Under Yeah, you know what I'm saying, in the 70s too. That's when Nixon was in office. So
Thanks.
yeah, he definitely put the drugs and stuff in our communities. It's not the fact that women were like, oh, we don't need y'all. That's a whole lie. Like, my mom, dad never said no shit like that ever happened. Like, it's the fact that they got locked up for selling drugs. Men weren't in the house anymore because they were doing drugs. My father and his cousins were products of that shit. I'm glad my dad's okay. I'm just being real. Like, my dad seen that shit, went through all of that shit. Men weren't in the household because some fell victim to doing the drugs, some fell victim to selling it and going to jail. So now that's where the welfare and all this other government shit came out. And now when the men went to jail and the women started getting those benefits, when the men came home, oh shit, we can't take you back now because you don't have the job, you can't even get a job now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you have this record, so now we have to keep feeding your children with what assistance we're getting. So like,
Just a point of clarity.
they
It's
had
not
no
just
choice. They
just a
had
point
no
of clarity.
choice.
Just a point of clarity. It's not just that they couldn't take them back because they didn't have a job. It's also because the way that Section 8 is designed, if you get tax
Yeah.
credit,
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what I
then if
said.
you have a
That too.
felony, right, if you have a felony record, then you can't stay there. So it wasn't a choice per se. However, doing drugs is a choice. So we do have to
Exactly.
own and take responsibility for that piece because we don't have to partake in what's pushed on us.
Mm-hmm. And
And I
that's
think, we've learned from that.
Yeah, and I knew that for a fact. I was about to say that because I knew that for a fact because my mom used to, I'm gonna get a little personal. My mom used to get food stamps. When we lived in Newark, New Jersey, we moved to South Jersey, and when they found out that my dad was still living with us, they took it away. So yeah, I knew
Yeah,
that.
see?
But my dad was a provider though, but still, like, we still struggled a little bit.
But
But
you see how I'm saying, like, because your dad was in the house, they took him away from y'all. But
yup,
why couldn't they provide for y'all whole family? Why your dad had to be
exactly.
excluded? That's what I'm trying to
And she
point out.
didn't
Like,
even
they exclude
work.
the men.
My
They
mom didn't
exclude
even
the
work till I was
men.
3. Right.
I know my mom the same way. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My
Mhm.
dad worked. My mom used to tell Section 8, "Oh, he don't live there. My dad lived there." My mom ain't never put my daddy out. My
Mhm.
daddy lived with me all my life, and still my mama got Section 8. Why? Cause she wasn't putting no Section 8 over my dad.
Right. But they came to our house and everything to investigate, and it was like, oh, we see men stuff here. So yeah, they definitely
So
took
you
that shit
gotta know
away.
when they come to
They
do inspection, move it all out.
She had a lot of shit, girl. We
No,
felt.
we used to put it right in the garage. They ain't check the garage. Put that shit in the garage. My dad had gone to work.
Oh, we was in apartments, girl.
Same thing happened in my household. They
So,
came and inspected.
so maybe if I concede that everything that you guys are saying about Section 8, welfare, all of that, if I concede all of that, what about today? What's the excuse today?
Today, the women making the wrong choices in me.
Oh, the
Oh, let
women
Oh
me
making the
know.
wow.
Let
wrong
me let me tell you
choices.
the truth. The reason is these boys weren't really raised correctly because they were fatherless. A lot of them were fatherless. There were no fathers in the home, so that's why a lot of these men are led astray. Not all of them, because I know some good ass fathers. I know some stand up ass men, but not all of them are like that because they didn't have someone to guide them. Yeah, your mama can do the best that they can, but a woman cannot raise no man by herself. You gotta have grandpa, you gotta have an uncle, you gotta have some type of man guiding a man to show them where to go. And that's what we lost. They don't have that. These little boys don't have that. Nobody don't care about the kids.
So
No, ain't no uncles
basically,
checking on these little boys.
so basically, you're saying that the reason today, if I'm understanding you correctly, just to put it plainly, Menzie, that it's the failure of the men to provide fatherhood and guidance to the male children is the
And it's
reason,
also
correct?
on the mother because you choose who you have your children with. Again,
Yeah,
you
you
choose who you
definitely
have your
do.
kids with. So
You
Thank you.
definitely
Can
if
we
you
do.
lay
start
with a
there?
bum,
But if
you gonna have a child
I'm
by a
gonna be
bum.
honest with
Can
you,
we
I'm
start
gonna be
there?
honest with you, Menzie. If every black woman vetted to the standard that we're talking about, there would be no black children because the majority of black men
Yes.
or
I have
behaving in a
I
no.
way.
I
That
have
is a
three kids'
ridiculous
fathers. I
statement.
have three kids' fathers, so I cannot agree to that. And all of them are good fathers, but that don't mean they are a good man. My first two kids' fathers, they were not good in a relationship. They did not know how to be in a relationship, which is why we could not make a family. My fiance knew how to make a family. That's why we made it work. You can't just say, "Oh, majority of these men." All men are not like that. Stop holding all men to one
You didn't give
standard.
me
Thank
you
you,
didn't
Can I
Measy.
you
say
Thank
didn't
you.
I
give me
can
you
say
didn't give me an
Thank you. I
that
opportunity.
appreciate that.
Actually, you didn't
women
give me an
set out to
opportunity to finish
be.
my statement, but you actually proved what I was saying because you just said it for me. You said that I'm not talking about specifically them just being good fathers. That's awesome that you have three baby daddies and they're good fathers to their children, but they're not behaving in a way that's conducive to the nuclear black family. If they were, then you wouldn't have three baby daddies.
But let
You
me
would have
correct
one
you, they are
husband.
now because both of them are in relationships. They both have a woman that they love fully.
But
I
that's
wasn't the woman for
not
them. I wasn't the woman for them. That's the thing. I wasn't the
okay.
woman for them.
So you didn't choose correctly.
Right. As you can see,
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
Thank
placing
you
the
for the
blame on
accountability,
me. It
man.
was for me. I didn't take
Okay.
accountability for the things I wasn't giving them.
I got you. I got you. Thank you for clarifying.
At the end of the day, a woman shouldn't be blamed for how a man is treating another black woman at the end of the day.
But we have to hold ourselves
I
accountable
mean,
for the
don't
things
get
we
me
do.
wrong. I'm not saying we're not supposed to hold ourselves accountable. I'm not never saying that because, yeah, we do as women. But where do we get the trait from? Just calling him.
Our mothers. Our mothers.
Not just our mothers. What do we see in our households growing up?
Abuse,
I had a two parent
abuse,
household.
general mental.
My daddy never was abusive. My daddy gave my mom, my daddy still take care of my mother to this day. They're not
Thank you,
together no
man.
more.
I
In a
get, but all
relationship.
households are not like that, though. My household wasn't
That's
like
the
that.
thing.
Well,
My
Everybody's
household
not like
was
that.
I always find it interesting
Everybody from a
when
different
the topic
environment.
comes up because I don't know any men in my family that are not in the house. And my father's been married to my mother 53 years, and all the men in my family have been married for
Same.
25 years and plus. And so
Same
I'm
here.
really starting to get bothered by and curious about the validity of some of these stats because I just don't see how I grew up my whole life and don't know any of these bum dads. I just don't literally don't know them. Now I know a couple, right? But out of all of my family, and I have a huge family, they're all married, all over 20 plus years. So I don't know that these stats may be even correct. I'm worried about that.
I think they're
but
talking about this
based off
generation
of
though,
what
because
Minji just said, she's a baby mama three times over. So how don't you see like that?
Right.
And that's awesome that you come from a family. And I'm not trying to disrespect you, Minji, by saying that. I'm just pointing out a
No, it's
fact
okay.
that she's a baby mom three times
And
over,
I'm a
and
baby
you
mama 4 times,
even and
so
you
I feel
even
it.
like the indicator of the culture and what the norm is if you look at the things in which we speak of. Baby mama is not a widely used term for no reason. They write songs. Fantasia wrote a song about baby mama. I don't know the words because I didn't listen to it,
Summer
but
Walker
like we
too.
glorify baby mamahood. Baby mama culture has been a real thing before
So
we coined the term. Hold on. I'm just responding to what you said. So we're not going to sit up and pretend you were blessed enough to have an example of the nuclear black family, that the majority of black families are broken and there are an overwhelming
I
majority
think I
of
was
single mothers, and black women are the highest number of single mothers out of any other race of woman here in America. But you know what? Because
it's not a
now white
fact.
women
I'm
are
being honest about my
actually
experience. Don't say pretend because I'm saying
right.
right. It's my experience.
That's
And
anecdotal
Sure to
though.
say that. Right, it is anecdotal. It's my experience. However, I do give some pushback because even the fathers that I know who didn't live in the house, I think it would be very hard for statistics to really readily and completely show men who are very active participants in their kids' lives. For instance, most of my friends have fathers that are in their lives, but they don't live in their household. So you can be a time baby mama and he can come see his kid every weekend and they have fine, great relationships with those
I
men.
feel like
So
that's still
again,
problematic though.
well,
They're still
I want to
single
tell you
mothers
something
though.
though. I want to tell you something though. I never addressed myself as a single mother even before I was with my fiance. Why their fathers were in their life. I'm not doing it
there
singly.
you go.
I'm not doing it
Hmm.
by myself.
that's a
I'm not a
great
Yep.
single
point.
mother. I'm
That's a great point.
co-parenting at the end of the day.
Yep.
That's a great point.
So we have to make sure when you say single mother, that mean that mother doing everything by herself.
Yep, I concede that point. That's a great point. Thank you for correcting me on that.
And all it's okay because I come from a family of men. My mothers, my aunts, my cousins, all of them married. They're married. They married. They got husbands. So I know what I went through was my experience because that is the person I am. I had an experience with people. I had to learn myself, learn how I wanted to be loved, so that way I could demand it from my significant other. Because as a woman, you have to demand how you're going to be treated. You can't let someone treat you away. You have to demand how you want to be treated in this world.
I agree with
I'm
that.
tired
And I
of these.
also
I am
agree
tired of
that a
room.
woman can be married and she can still be a single mother. My
Oh
mother was
yes, yes.
married to my mother was married to my father for over 30 years and she was a single mother.
I can understand that one. I've heard a lot of different stories, but I also want.
Your point.
What are we gonna do to move? To me, it's I don't the blame game thing in these rooms constantly dedicated to things like we're not being protected or what the black man does this to the black woman and the black woman does this to the black man. What are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna change? What are we gonna do today that we didn't do yesterday to change the course and do something different? Because at one time
Make
we
better
had
choices.
Oklahoma, we had Black Wall Street, we had some things going on. So what are we gonna do? Let's start making plans in this room and stop just talking about the problems and start making plans.
Everything
We
we
Yeah,
do
gotta
should
I
be
start
think we
loving
planned.
need
each
to
other.
start. I
Together.
think the number one thing is that we need to start, building trust and building a relationship amongst each other and just stop listening to what the outsider says because what I'm noticing when it comes to black men and women is like we're not hearing each other, we're not listening to each other. And that's what we need to do because we do need to listen to what black men are saying because their points is valid as well as black women. And as sorry, I can't as I'll say as No Sizzle says is that we need to have like a game plan to know what we can do to move forward. Because if you look at every other POC race, they have that trust and bond and self preservation towards each other because they trust each other. But I don't think, for me, I don't think black men are bad. I mean, there are some black men, that do protect us, but we just have to stop talking about the same old shit. We need to like come to an understanding and listen to each other, then that's what we have to do.
And
I
we gotta
agree with
start
you.
loving each other, y'all. We gotta
I
start telling the black man, I
100%
love
agree.
you. You loved out here. I support you. Black men, we gotta start telling black women, I love you. I'm here with you. I support you. We gotta be in the fight together.
So
Can I?
can I just say this? When you say what we're gonna do now and how are we gonna move forward, I agree that we do need to come up with some solutions. But the reason why I continue to state the issues is because I think that when there's been so much hurt, pain, and trauma that the community as a whole has gone through, regardless if it's by the hands of black men or not, what people need in order to move forward in any relationship is for the person that caused the harm to take accountability. When we're having these conversations, numerous of women have disagreed with me. They've corrected me and said, well, black women, we do too, this, that, and the third. And to a certain degree, I'll accept that and I'll even agree with some of the things. However, that's never the stance for men. They don't hold each other accountable. They don't take onus of the pain and the destruction and the hurt and harm that they have caused us as women, black women, and children within the community. So until they're able and willing to take accountability for the harm and destruction that they have caused, then there will be no moving forward.
I want to say that I kind of disagree with that. This is Erica. Only reason is because let me just share something with you. Everyone is not going to take responsibility for what they do, and then what we're going to do? We're going to allow that to continue to have power over us. Are we going to still stay stagnant because there's a few people that won't take responsibility for what they did? So I have a personal issue, story. I have a cousin that was molested by one of my uncles, and he never served time in jail. And I kept telling her, she was saying he's still showing up at the picnics. We was younger. We was 12 and 13 years old, and for some reason, my grandmother put her house up to make sure that he didn't serve any time. And my aunties was like, you said your story 2 or 3 different stories. We just don't believe you. So even after we became 20 years old and 25 and 30, and I'm over 40 now, she would say, y'all having picnics and he did this to me. And I kept telling her, everybody don't have to serve time in jail for them to have a miserable life. This guy was, my uncle was on crack. He even died of bone cancer, a slow death of bone cancer. At the end of the day, God gives you his wrath to the people that deserve his wrath. And we sometimes are not going to get that accountability to us, but God will make sure for people, those that believe in the higher power, you say his name how you want to say it, but we can continue to say, okay, my life is not going to move forward because this person or these people um, did not show accountability. We have to stop that. And then another thing is, I wanted to say this too, since I haven't been able to talk. I just want to just bring this little small portion back up there, and because I work with people all the time, there are a lot of fathers who are trying to take care of their children, but the mama say, okay, well, you won't give child support, you can't see your kid, you can't do this, you can't see your kid. So what we do is we equate money to taking care of the kid, which yes, that is helpful. But what if the daddy don't have a job, but he has a lot of good knowledge and he has that presence that he can do for the child? There are a lot of men that want to take care of their children, and then they can't see their children because the mother is holding that over, holding that over their heads. And then the last thing, because you all said, okay, well, what is the solution? The solution is, to me is, the one sister talked about the hurts and pains and traumas. If we as a Black America could stop and just think, we buy Louis Vuitton and Coach purses, we get $200 hair weave. If you can spend that money on getting you some therapy, because getting you some help, because what happens is, even our men, our women, we have traumas and dramas and depression, we have darknesses, we have mental illnesses. But guess what? Nobody will spend their money to go and cry on somebody's shoulder and have that breakdown so they can have that breakthrough. And then you continue to vomit on people and you hurt people with your tongues. And then that leads to no relationship, or the kids are at school bullying other kids, because whoever's raising these kids, they won't get any therapy for themselves. So that's what my solution is. My solution is, we need to get some help, so that, and the destruction of the Black family, that was all organized, strategized. And how a person cannot understand that that was meant to break up the Black family, I don't know where people are getting their knowledge from, but that shit is real. It was real, and it still continues today, where it's the destruction of the Black family, period. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna say
Vivian
this and
allowed
before
me
we go,
to.
you guys. I'm not gonna say anything polarizing, but I've been on this app for too long, and I got to get my little Sunday started because I got to go cook and stuff, y'all. But I'm gonna say this. First of all, I want to acknowledge your cousin. My heart breaks for your cousin, and I'm not trying to disrespect your family, but they failed her. They failed
Absolutely.
her miserably. And there are too many stories about Black women and girls being abused at the hands of the men in their family. And what do we tell them? Oh, girl, basically what you just said is, girl, get over it and wait on God. You didn't say it in those words, but it's very disturbing to me You talk about doing healing. There can be no healing without recompense or acknowledgement. And your family failed to acknowledge her pain, and she's going to carry that for the rest of her life because she's not only dealing with what that man did to her, she's dealing with the betrayal that you and your family
I was a
visited
kid. Wait
on
a minute.
her.
Hold on.
Hold
I
on,
was
hold on.
a
I
kid.
listened to you. I listened to you speak. And now I'm speaking. And the way y'all did that woman is completely disgusting to me. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I'm sorry, but not sorry. It's the truth. I'm gonna speak to that. You should never tell a person, "Oh, well, it happened. It happened." Yes, go get therapy. I agree with that. I've gone through extensive therapy. I'm actually a psychology major working on my second degree. You understand? So there is power in doing the work within yourself. But as a family, it's like it cut her doubly deep because you can move past the trauma of being violated, but being betrayed and dismissed by the people who are supposed to protect and love you, and when they already failed to protect you from what happened to you, it's devastating, and some women can never come back from that. And so I admonish that every woman that heard this conversation, do not move past it and just say, "Oh, well, it happened and I'm going to wait on God to give him." You keep speaking your truth. You keep holding them accountable. It doesn't matter if they never take accountability. You keep speaking up. You don't be quiet. You don't let anybody silence you because your testimony can deliver another woman to start speaking up. That's the problem. Too many people tell black women, "Okay, just get over it." Fuck that. And I'm standing on it.
Okay.
But I
I stand
hey,
with you.
listen. When we talk about rape and molestation and how prevalent it is within the black family and how people did my sister got raped constantly as a child. Constantly as a child by my father. She wasn't his child. Do you understand? This is a man that I love, that I was very close to. I didn't know until I was an adult. He never abused me, treated me like a princess. But the man who I loved and protected me and that I was close to raped my sister to the point that she can't even have children because he fucked up her little womb. And nobody held him accountable. Not the uncles, not the brothers, not the grandpa, none of the men. And you know what they told
I'm
her?
so sorry.
Gotta get them, baby. Gotta get them. The same bullshit you trying to feed other black women. That's what they did to my sister. That's why she's a fucking alcoholic, all fucked up, can't get her life together. None of that shit. It's not probably necessarily because she probably could have moved past what he did to her if she would have had the support from her family. But because they betrayed her, they violated her all over again. So fuck that. Wait on God. Get your revenge now. Because if I was of age to know what the fuck he did to her, I would have blew his cap off my fucking self. That's all I'm gonna say, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all take care of yourself. I'm about to go cook, and I appreciate you all having these conversations. I'm gone. All right.
Have a good day. Sorry
So
about that.
this is Erica.
Um, if I can, I do agree with what Resilient just said because I was raped by a man of God. I was raped by a minister as a grown woman, and that man was my father. And so when people tell me, oh, God will get him, really, really, this man is still standing in front of a pulpit because when I went to go speak my truth, his whole church attacked me. His wife attacked me. My own siblings attacked me. I contemplated suicide. I got a 19-year-old daughter. I contemplated suicide with my daughter sleeping in the next room because it hurt that bad. It hurt that I had my daughter around that man. So I understand when we say God, that's nice, but what comfort does that bring someone when that person could have been a person of God or in the church or doing something like that. So we have to acknowledge people's pain, especially when they're hurt by somebody in the family. And how I got through it, to be very honest with you, because I don't even think my mother believed me. But you know who believed me? One, just one of my sisters believed me. Only one. I have 7 siblings, and out of 7 siblings, one believed me. One was willing to come down here and take him out. One. So I understand where we say, oh, well, you could do this, you could do that. I'm standing strong because my sister said that's fucked up. My sister said, speak your truth. My sister said, if you want to yell it to the top of your lungs, I got your back. But if I didn't have my sister, I guarantee you I wouldn't be here talking to you because I couldn't get over the fact that the man I was supposed to love and protect me, that's supposed to be my daddy. When somebody do something like this to me, he's supposed to go after them and do this. But that was the man that did it to me in his house, in his room, while his wife was gone. So that whole notion of, oh, don't do this, do that. Yes, I agree. Get some therapy. Please, 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 please get some therapy. Because you got to get that out. But just sitting here and hushing it and sweeping it under the rug, that's the problem. And let me tell you, I couldn't have been the first one. I was not the first one. He was too smooth. He did it to somebody else. But because we keep these people's secrets, right, and we keep their little secrets and we sweep it under the rug, that's why we have the problem we have today. Call them out. Bring them to the mat. Let it be known. Because that same man videotaped how old was my niece at the time? A 10-year-old girl about to get in the shower. If she didn't find that phone, she'd have been undressing, washing herself in the shower, and the camera would have been recording her. You see what I'm saying? So we got to start protecting not only ourselves, but the people in our family by calling these people out. I don't care if they family or not. Call them to the mat. You did this. You own up to this and stand behind the people when they tell you this happened to me. Whether you got all the facts or not, it doesn't matter. What matters the most is that you're there for me when I need you, when I'm hurting, when I'm crying, when I'm contemplating suicide. That's what we need. I need you to be with me, not against me. I need to know that I can come to you and be held because I was hurt by somebody that we share a bloodline with. And I'm letting my plane there.
It's just another example of, black women not being protected. And I'm not trying to come at you, My mom was raised in a church and stuff like that. And she went through something like that. And her sister went through something like that, not with family members, but my aunt wound up getting pregnant at 15 because she was taken advantage of. And she didn't know who the man was. I guess she was walking down the street in Newark, New Jersey, and the man wound up raping her. So she became pregnant, and in the church, they wound up just judging her. My grandmother I don't want to talk bad about her because rest her soul, she was a great woman, but at the same time, they did not protect her. Like, I think the man that did it to my aunt walked, you know what I'm saying, and lived his life. And my mom too, like, whatever happened to her, like, the man that did it to her, he wound up just dying. He never went to jail. So it's like they kind of got blamed for it too. So it's like that shit, it didn't happen to me, but it definitely hits home because I see how much pain my mom is in. And it's not just that happened to her life, it's so much other things. But with that being a part, like, it kind of, a part of her life, it kind of like on her, definitely she should have got therapy, but it's hard, you know what I'm saying? So black women need to be protected because things do trickle down on generations and generations. My mom didn't let me go nowhere because she was so scared for me to go through what she went through and what her sister went through. But she, don't get me wrong though, she would have protected me.
Can I say
I'd have been
something?
the only person in my family that would have been protecting me. I'm sorry, y'all, I was getting a call, but yeah, it's just we do have to do better with that. Like, we can't let that happen no more, honestly.
Speaking on reference, I hear some of us say that we supposed to protect our black men too, right? But what do you do when it's the black man that's doing it to you? The abuse, physically, mentally, emotionally. How do we protect them when they're supposed to be the ones protecting us?
So, is there anybody that would like to answer that question for her? After
The,
we're gonna try to wrap this room up afterwards. After everyone get a chance to speak.
This is Erica again. I just want to say, I agree with the last other speaker saying that we are supposed to acknowledge people's pain. And I feel like that it was misunderstood. We all were children at this time. So when the lady says, I did my cousin a disservice, um, I just wanted to say that we as children, we believed her. Back in those days, which I'm not trying to, it was terrible. It just was terrible. People was, what goes on in this house stays in this house. People were protecting their molesters, and it just was terrible. But to answer that question, how do you move forward? How do we move forward in anger? How do we move forward when we're trying to raise children and we are injecting our angers and our pains and our hurts, our traumas, in our depressions, our darknesses into our children? And so, yes, I believe that people are supposed to speak their truth, stand in their power, and I believe that you are supposed to become the woman or the man that you strive to be. But how do we move forward if something happened to you at 10 and 12 years old? How do we move forward if you or we do not get help? Now, let me just say this, and please, um, do not. I don't want anybody to one thing I hate is to be misunderstood or misquoted. And the thing about it is that whoever rapes and molests people, hurt people. So you guarantee that it possibly was done to them. 99% it was possibly done to them, or they've seen it done, or they was around it, and it's nasty. It's just not right. It's a dysfunctional generational curse that we have. So my thing is, if people want the solution, we cannot continue. We have to talk about it. Yes, 100% we have to talk about it. And 100% we have to acknowledge the pain of the person. But at some point, it becomes a spiritual realm. It becomes I can't do anything about it, right? What I'm saying is, when you are 12 years old and you have all these adults that says, oh, this didn't happen, or which the reason why I told that story is because this has happened to millions of people, absolutely millions upon millions of people. And so what do we do in the place of that person didn't serve time in jail? What do we do, y'all? Do we continue to not move forward? Like I said, it becomes something spiritual. It's knowing that that person will be dealt with. So yes, and it's horrible that we have pastors and popes molesting people and having sex with boys, and our dads and uncles is doing these things. But it eventually, as we get older, becomes, if there's nothing that is going to happen to him and all odds are against you, the two things that I say is, you have to get help, because we still have to raise our children. You still have to get you a relationship. Are you going to get your traumas that you had in the past and lash out at your husband? Are you going to lash out at your wife because you won't get help for yourself? Are you going to lash out at your children? So that's my point right there, of getting the therapy, getting the help that you need, and also spiritual wise, knowing that there is a higher power. There is something called, if I can't help you, if I can't do nothing to you, something will be done. I have a God that's looking over me. That will, if I can't get you, he will. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
Hi. Well, that's I think what you're not understanding is the people aren't saying that the problem of you saying that God will get them right. That's not the problem. That I think people, when they heard you speak, what they're taking issue with is the fact of you're saying to the victims they need to get help. And really, honestly, when you ask that question about what should happen if the case of them, the person who's doing that is not going to jail, you also have to consider this too. Even if a person has been molested before, right, and they molest someone else, they're grown. So especially if you've been molested or touched, then you should know what it feels like to be a victim, and that alone should make you not do that. Okay? So that's no excuse. That's absolutely no, I'm talking right now. I didn't interrupt you. So that's that's no excuse. Um and as far as community, I believe the solution is with creating community and men holding those type of men. um I'm not even going to speak what I was going to say, but like other men that's actually not doing that, handle them. And there should be no reason why a victim should in their own family shouldn't be believed or supported. And if you've never been a victim of that, then you wouldn't even understand what it would feel like to not be believed by your own family. So for someone to like, I think we need to be sensitive to other people who have been through that too. Because if you've never been in their seat, then that means you should just be sitting there listening to those who have been victimized instead of saying what they should be doing. Because it doesn't it I know, like, for a fact, you would never know what it feels like in the inside and what they deal with mentally to not be on the layers of it, to not be believed by your own family, to be dismissed in your account. And not only that, for someone to take something from you, because that's what it feels like to be raped or to be molested. It feels literally like someone took something from you, like you can't get it back. But guess what? Me knowing who God is, though, me knowing who God is, I know that he's a healer. I know that he restores. I know that he does that. Okay? But to say, to only hold the person who's victimized accountable by themselves is an imbalance. Because the fact of the matter is, for a child to not be listened to, for a child not to be heard, it does something on the inside. And yes, those adults are very much accountable, because guess what they did? That means that they discounted that child and they allowed someone else, because they're an adult, to proceed in what they've done. And that's cruel. So that is a breakdown and a failure in that community. And I'm not saying everyone that, like, to say that all black men are molesters, to say all pastors are molesters, that's an imbalance too. But these things need to be talked about. If these are people's experience, so those who say, what are we going to do about it? A part of healing is actually speaking about things, because you no longer are trapped in it. Actually telling your truth delivers you. It's a part of it. It says the truth shall set you free. And then when you acknowledge that you're hurting, that's where you get the healing. The process of healing comes through that. So I don't think conversations like this should ever stop until people stop doing the BS. To silence voices of victims is crazy.
And me speaking up and saying, I don't think that anybody should be saying what a victim should be doing is me saying exactly that. Because I can't tell a surgeon how to be a surgeon. I can't tell somebody how to do something if I've never been in those shoes. But what I could say is I wish you the best. I want you to heal. I want you to get everything that you need in your life. Don't allow a moment in your life, and never discrediting what has happened to you, but don't allow that moment to create your whole life, because there's so many things that are beautiful ahead of you. But get the healing that you need for you. Forgive those, because you know why? It's no point of just holding it. It's no point of just holding on to it. They're terrible. They're terrible people. It is not your fault. It's nothing that you did wrong. You are not the blame. It is them. They're sick. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you, ladies,
Thank
for
you.
these jewels. I appreciate this room so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that because she's right. And I'm going to be honest, I've gone to therapy. I'm still in therapy. We 3 years through, right? I speak my truth to young girls in high school. That's why I started mentoring young teenage girls in high school, right? Because I know what it felt like to be molested, but I know what it felt like to be raped as an adult woman by your father, right? And so you can say get the help, you can say all of that, but who's gonna take away those thoughts in my head that come up sometimes? Where sometimes I'm in a house and I'm just doing something and something can happen that boom brings me back. Now I don't have therapy, we working through it, but I'm still gonna have those moments where those flashbacks come back. Healed and all, it's still there. Now I have the choice, right, to make the choice to say today I'm gonna give it to it, today I'm not. That's up to me to make that decision. But to sit there and say that, oh, this is gonna happen, and if you trust in God, I know God got me. I'm where I'm at because of God. I'm here because of God. I'm standing on my 2 feet, dealing with these young girls because of God. This is all because of God. Because if it was up to me, him and everybody else would be off this earth. If it was up to me. But at the same time, I got God, but I still have moments where I curl up in that corner and I cry my eyes up because it's still that why me? Why did that have to happen to me? Why did he choose me to do that too? But even though I know that I'm here for a purpose, and you know what, that probably happened to help me to help these young girls so that they have somebody they can go to. But still at the end of the day, I gotta deal with the thoughts. I have to make the decision to be a better person. He's still doing what he's doing though. You know what I mean? And so I gotta deal with that too. I gotta deal with that. He's still walking around. Being a man, nobody's holding him accountable for what he did to me. I'm the victim and I'm still getting backlash off of that. Now, does that define me? No, it don't. It never will. But that's not me. I'm bigger than that. I'm gonna always be bigger than that. And he'll never take me out. Nothing that he'll ever do will ever stop me. But at the same time, I still have those moments that creep in, that knock on my shoulder like, hey, and it hurts. It still hurts. It still hurts. But at the same time, you can't, and I agree with Jimmy Short, thank you so much for saying you can't tell me how to deal, right? You can't tell me what I'm going to deal with because there's a lot of other things going on that's factoring too, because yes, I still have to be a mother at the same time. And so in trying to deal with my own healing, I still had to be a mother. I still had to go to work. I still had to show up for myself. That's also the double conundrum to that. Because how am I healing and there's nobody that can catch me when I fall? Because I still gotta maintain. I still have to maintain. So that's the stress on top of that to go with that. So it's a lot that goes into it. And I appreciate you, Lisa, saying that if you haven't been there, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but if you really have not been there, if you have not had those moments where you're sitting at the bottom of your tub, crying, holding yourself, walking around the street, looking around, back and forth, because you don't know if somebody coming to hurt you, you got that paranoia. That doesn't ever really go away. That doesn't ever really go away. You can deal with it, but it doesn't go away. This is something I got to deal with for the rest of my life. And I'm a power through. You damn right I am. Because I speak for women like me. I speak up forever and a day. But at the same time, it's also dealing with that, why the fuck do I have to do this? Why did it have to be me? So if anybody, if you hear you going through, trust me, you will get to this point. You had enough of dealing with that sadness. You had enough of feeling low. You had enough of them taking your power from you. You're going to take it back. You're going to stand on your 2 feet because you deserve it. You owe that to yourself. You. So nobody else owe it to you but you because you deserve that love. And if nobody else is going to give it to you, give it to yourself. But I just really want us to understand that from a victim standpoint, I'm always going to be healing around this. That's just the fact of it. Because when that thought comes in, I have the choice again to say if I'm going to drop to it or I'm trying to knock it out of my mind, I got to go do something else to knock it out. But that is still something that I have to say that I'm a kid when I was raped by my father. And even though I'm empowered and I'm strong, I hate the fact that I have to say that. I hate it. I absolutely hate it because that is not something that I've ever wanted to come out my mouth. That is not something I've ever wanted to say. But you know what? I say it because guess what? She's right. The power is in my testimony. And how I choose will show other women that they can do this too. They show other young girls that you got the power to do this too. It ain't just me, you can do it too. But we still got those moments when we feel vulnerable. And that's what's important. And also having that support when we get to those moments of vulnerability. And I yield the mic.
Thank you so much for speaking. I definitely feel where you're coming from. Is there anybody else that would like to speak before we end the room? Okay, I want to say thank you guys for
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, sis. I trying to, but yeah, I just want to say these are conversations that we need to keep having for real because you know I can't even trip. Every sister that I've had a relationship as an adult has had a story of abuse, assault, or very close proximity to it. You know, and these are conversations that brothers actually need to hear. So if we can continue to have these talks, and I appreciate y'all for you know sticking it through and listening to it. But I receive a lot of what y'all said.
thank you so much. And if anybody would continue to have to listen to discussions such as this, to empower our women, and also just hear each other out because I know a lot of people can understand where each other are coming from, and a lot of people also need to learn about it and find out ways to look for signs and stuff like that when things happen. So I'm definitely going to continue to have rooms like this. If you would like, you can click on that greenhouse and follow Sit with China. This room was about protecting Black women at all costs, and we talked about a number of things in this room, all the way from discrimination, from police officers, all the way from discrimination and women's health at the hospitals, from what we feel about with our brothers and sisters, how they relate to each other or not so much. And we just always need to have these type of discussions. And sorry, my voice went away. So I'm so sorry that I sound like this. But I just want to say coming and make sure you guys follow the moderators. I want to thank Measy, Lady Nia, Jamishua, and everyone else who was moderating today. I want to
Thank
thank
you,
y'all.
China.
And I also want to thank all of the people who came to share their stories, um, and just everybody that's here. Make sure you also follow each other as well. Follow your neighbor that you see, or anyone that you could resonate with when they were speaking. And yeah, I love you guys, and we will continue to have
Thank
talks
you,
like
sis.
you're welcome, and it will be a safe space.
China, I love the
You
room.
did so
Thanks
good
for
they made a
having this
spinoff
room.
room.
I
Oh
You
wow!
got
appreciate it.
three
Did
spinoff
they?
rooms.
Mm.
Oh wow!
You should make this a
Well,
weekly
China, you
thing.
might as well go and make your 4 spin-off rooms because you already know I'm finna open up a room too.
All right, all right. I love you guys,
And
and
sisters,
All
we
right.
and I'm gonna say this,
Love you
sisters,
too, China. Thank you.
you're
sisters, some of us do love y'all, and we here and we gonna ride and die for y'all. Probably not that many as the ones on the other side, but we hear them.
And also, thank you. I didn't know you were still in the room. Thank you, D, for moderating in my space. I appreciate it. All right. Bye, y'all.